Let me get my microphone. Just because it's better for me. Actually, wait, no. You guys can hear me fine, right?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so I should. Okay, so I shouldn't need the microphone. All right, let me pull up the prompt. All right, I'm also gonna have to keep my eye on the chat so that I can do the questions. We will be starting right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the NASCAR Amino podcast. I don't know yet who's here. Oh, we've already got 3 people. We've already got 3 people. That's pretty solid right there. We're joined today by Caleb Marinelli.
Hello.
Carter is not going to be able to speak, unfortunately. Jared Holmes.
What's up?
And new addition, Tanner Campos.
What's up, everyone?
All right, this is the first time we've had Tanner on. We're very excited. That, by the way, that I just called everyone is the speaking order for today. So we're going to open it up to Amino stuff. Does anyone want to make any announcements before we start?
Nope.
Nope.
I guess same old stuff for me. NASM's Epic Return race will be coming out at some point. Just kind of been a bit behind on schedule. I know that for a fact, but just trying to perfect it to get it the best quality it can be. That's really all I got to say.
All right. Anything else going on with the naps, by the way? Caleb?
Rip.
Or apparently not. So I do have an announcement. The M1CS Bristol race is scheduled to be this Wednesday. Carter and Jared will be in the booth for that. It's gonna be a really fun race. We've got some new lineup, new features. Quinn Yeager's in the chat. Nice.
No.
Wait.
He is. He actually is.
No way.
Quinn, come back.
Quinn, he come
please
back.
We miss you.
We want you back, Quinn. All right. So yeah, M1CS will be on the NASCAR Amino network. It'll be some pretty fun shit. All right. So first, NASCAR since the return, we're gonna start with the real heroes for 400. The first race back since NASCAR. Darlington, what are you guys' thoughts on that, real quick? Caleb first.
It wasn't the most fantastic race in the world, but it was definitely good to see us, kind of return to some sort of normalcy. Very interesting to say the least. I mean, I think enough's already been said about that race. Very emotional day that was. A lot happened, yeah.
Jared?
The race was okay. Good to see NASCAR back. Boring winner. It was a Kevin Harvick type race. Not very much happening. Harvick just there at the end. But yeah, it was good. NASCAR came back. Not many complaints.
Tanner?
The racing was decently okay, but overall good. And it's truly a special moment to see the sport come back since the entire world has had to be in secrecy ever since the worldwide pandemic happened. But it's overall a special moment to see NASCAR come back and be in the first sporting event to televise back after a long hiatus.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all true. I thought the race was actually pretty good. It wasn't. I mean, there were points where it looked like Kevin Harvick was challengeable, but in the end, it was just Kevin Harvick. Plus, it's the only race that I've liked because it's the only race so far since we're back that Alex Bowman hasn't been screwed in some way. Which is not the same for the next race, the first Wednesday race, the Toyota 500K. Caleb, thoughts on that one?
All right, so this is where it got a bit juicy. We obviously saw the incident very late in the race, which not going to go too far into. That wasn't the greatest night for the Amino, but yeah, just a mistake on behalf of the 18 team's part from spotter Tony Hirschman. But overall, that's where we really got back into it. That was like such an exciting race to watch, and we obviously had that drama toward the end of it there. It's unfortunate that happened to be like basically the last move of the races. Hamlin would go on to win it. That was kind of a typical Denny Hamlin win when you really think about how he's won in the past. But still a really good race, and then yeah. I guess that's all I have to say.
I thought that was a pretty good race. Drama, excitement, rain coming, just pretty good race. I mean, I didn't really like the end of it so much as a Chase Elliott fan, but not gonna lie, it was exciting. And then the best moment of the race was this finger right here. That one. Perfect. That's gonna be great for memes for NASCAR for years to come. Tanner?
That was probably the wildest race I've ever seen. That's what you want in NASCAR. You need some intensity and drama. That's what the sport has been involved around for so many years. And that entire Chase Elliott incident was actually pretty good. Not going to lie, but overall, it was still a good event. But the Chase Elliott incident will probably be the lasting impact for that race.
Yeah, that Chase Elliott moment is legendary. I don't expect to see any payback necessarily or retribution for it because I think the last person you probably want to mess with regards to that is Kyle Busch. But it was a pretty good race. You had quite a few comers and goers. You had Clint Boyer winning both the stages, which one no one expected, and two had Tanner in a rage.
Boo.
But yeah, it was a pretty good race, and then you thought Clint Boyer was just going to run away to an easy win, and he didn't. It turned into a stage 3, especially was great. Then for NASCAR's longest race and probably the weak link in the chain, the Coca-Cola 600, Caleb.
Oh, the Coke 600. Well, this is an interesting kind of slight part 2 to that Darlington race. Wasn't as exciting as last year's Coke 600 by any means, but we had one of the stupidest calls I've ever seen by a crew chief in NASCAR history toward the end of that, to what was kind of an overall slightly dull race, especially for Charlotte standards. But we saw Keselowski win in very, very interesting fashion. Then we kind of got to see Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott at the end of that. Not a lot of people pointed out the sportsmanship from Kyle Busch there. That was also a thing. But we'll always remember just, Chase Elliott and his absolute utter disappointment that we saw out of him when that race was over. And you couldn't help but feel bad for him. I mean, I know some people like Hayden Bishop just sat back, just laughing uncontrollably, but that was really just difficult to see, just flashbacks to the days when Chase couldn't quite get that cup win.
Heartbreak is what you say for that race. I hated that race at the end. Chase was there and made the stupidest decision I've ever seen. He should not pit. He just said, fuck you, Alan Gustafson, I'm not pitting. And lost that race. Gosh, heartbreak. That's all you can say, really. It was just heartbreak. Tanner?
The Coke 600 was okay, but it had a lot of comers and goers between the race leaders. But it was truly a heartbreaking moment for Chase Elliott to lose the race on a race-altering caution. But having Brad Keselowski win that race was kind of meaningful because him and Miro Lite have been associated for so long in the sport, and having Miro Lite win that with Brad Keselowski will be a lasting impact for that race because that might possibly be the last time we'll ever see the Blue Deuce in this sport.
I think that we might need to start calling those out of nowhere Penske wins, Jeremy Bullins type wins instead of Ryan Blaney type wins, because Brad Keselowski has basically taken over Ryan Blaney's role as the guy that comes out of nowhere to win the race. Like, that's pretty much what happened. Keselowski was not even, I don't even think he scored very many stage points. Not in the top 10 an awful lot. Comes in the end and steals the win from Chase. It ended up being not, and quite unfortunate. That sucks for Jimmy that he got tech DQ'd in his final season. But that was the real first super disappointment. That was, as a Bowman fan, that one hurt because that was like an easy top 5 run, and Bowman just got kind of screwed on that one. And then I won't talk about Alex Bowman anymore. And then the next Wednesday we had the All Skill Project 500K. Caleb.
I guess redemption's all you can say. Probably stealing Jared's words there, but absolute redemption for that one for Chase Elliott. And that's really, that's something I feel like NASCAR needed. Someone like Chase Elliott winning that race, whether you like him or not. It was awesome to see him win that, and it really kind of went to show that he's here to stay. I feel like this season he's really starting to fully come into himself. Whether you like him or not, but yeah, really good race overall there. I mean, it was a lot better than the previous race, Coke 600. But still, very exciting to watch, even if it was 312 miles, a lot shorter race, but still action packed.
I've noticed a trend with these races. Chase Elliott's there at the end. He's definitely evolving into a top-tier driver this year, I feel, especially since the return. Awesome to see him get redemption. Caleb did say my words after heartbreak the last 2 weeks. And, Chase is the most popular driver. That's all I gotta say. It's good for the sport when he wins. Really, that was really what the Amino needed after them 2 races. But yeah, Tanner.
That race, all you can say is redemption. But overall, the entirety of that race was pretty good. But it kind of got fizzled out towards the end. But having Chase Elliott win is pretty good, and it's established himself as the contender for this year's championship.
I kind of rage quit on that one after Bowman hit the wall. So, yeah, the race was really good up until Bowman hit the wall, and then I just quit, and I just checked out. Really good for Chase that he won. Really broke the streak for him, at least. Now we just got to figure out how to get the other Hendrick guys to not choke all the time. And then and then there was one. The race today. Caleb, don't steal everyone's lines.
Oh boy, that was awesome. What else can you say? I mean, there was action from the first lap to the end of it. I didn't really get to see the first 100 laps of it, but I saw a few clips of it there. I can imagine there was probably still a bunch of passion and excitement even early on. That's just how Bristol is, It's an amazing track. It always produces great racing, even when there's barely any fans in the stands, even when there's no fans in the grandstands like today. And we saw a controversial finish that actually saw me defending Joey Logano for the first time in my life. And, whether you like either of the guys involved or not, amazing finish to the race. Once again, Brad comes out of nowhere. That's like the 3rd Penske win this season to where one of their cars ends up winning, but they did not have the best car in that race by any means. They just kind of stole it. But congrats to Brad. He was there at the right time. What else can I say?
That race was fucking amazing. Emphasis on the F word. But gosh, what more could you want from that race? From heartbreak with Ryan Blaney, flashbacks to 2018 all over again. Excitement from start to finish. 17 cautions, I believe. Holy shit.
Wreckfest.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Okay, sorry about that. My phone fell. But it was perfect. What? Okay, I'm trying to do something. Go.
Jared Holmes, everybody.
Tanner.
Yo, all right. That's what you want in a spring Bristol race. That's what it's been missing for a while. Is that intensity, that wildness that happened in today. And with that win from Bragg his last few days, he should honestly start getting a contract because he's starting to become that Bragg Keselowski that has been missing for several years now.
That might have that race. That race really did have everything. I mean, as unfortunately we've lost Jared for I think only a little bit. That race really did have everything. I mean, the track changed at least 3 or 4 times. It went from you can only run the high line to you can only run the bottom to the multi groove Bristol that we've grown attached to. Then would go back to bottom only, then go to top only, back to bottom only, back to multi groove, back to top. It was the track changed so many different times, and it was so much good strategy that had to go on, and it ended up being a strategy call that wins the race because that race was absolutely insane. I mean, and there was so many good stuff going on. Chase Elliott sweeping the stages, Jimmy Johnson almost winning it, and then the caution comes out. Like there was just a lot of stuff that went on that in that race that was just really, really, really great. And I think it was the best. It's by far the best race since we've been back. Honestly, contender for race of the year so far.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I agree with that. It's up there.
All right, we kind of need Jared for this next part, so we'll try to ramble on a little bit more about this race.
Okay.
This I feel like we've had okay, so this is kind of how let's just acknowledge that NASCAR made an amazing decision to bring back the 2018 package for the short tracks. But you just need to point out how absolutely brilliant that's been so far. First, ISM, which is never good, was really good. And then this what might be the best Bristol race of the century.
Indeed.
Oh, we got Jared back.
And we've got Jared back. So we can now go on to the next part.
Hey, hello?
Yes,
Yeah.
we hear you.
So tired.
Ooh.
I
All right.
set up my setup because everything fell.
Oh no. Hey Jared, we're ready to go. We're ready to move on to the main topic.
Give me 1 minute. For fuck's sakes.
Oh
God.
Oh no.
What an unfortunate turn of events.
Oh my god. I should show you guys how long this Bristol thing is.
Give us a big reveal.
Like, not necessarily how long it is, but how much editing went into it. Save as never mind. Never mind. I don't really care enough. But there was a lot of editing that went into this one, but I'm really proud of it. And we have Jared back.
J-Rod is here.
Jared, you ready?
Yep.
All right.
Sorry about that, guys.
It's fine. It's fine. We only lost half the audience.
What a set turn of events.
All right. So, it's been about 2 months ago. I sent a little form around the Amino asking for your 3 favorite drivers. And, well, we have a top 30 list now that we have compiled with all the votes. there was over six. I think there are 67, at least 67 people got at least one vote. But some of them people did not make it in, unfortunately. These are the drivers that did. We're going to start with the 30th to 1st. In 30th, surprisingly, was Paul Menard, of all people. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a. Oh, but no, that's a Caleb. Caleb, go first.
That's interesting to see. I mean, you don't really see too many Paul Menard fans out there. Can't really say it was overrated. Can't say it was underrated. He was kind of just there the entirety of his career. I guess if you like him, you like him. I mean, I don't really know what else. What else can you say about Paul Menard, honestly?
Yeah, honestly, he's just been there his entire career. Just been a 15th to 25th place guy. Nothing more, nothing less. Congrats to Paul Menard for getting 30th, Tanner.
Dang. Paul Menard is just that guy who's in the race. He's been a journeyman throughout the entirety of his career. He had that one magical moment in 2011, but overall, he's respectable. And what he did towards the later state of his career with Matt Benedetto was kind of respectable by him to do that. But overall, Paul Menard is just that guy who's there in the NASCAR eye.
Yeah, there's really. I'm shocked, really. There's so many better Cup guys that have come and gone that should be higher than Menard on this list. I don't know why he's this high.
Okay, number 29. This driver has drove for Hendrick Motorsports, Red Bull Racing, Michael Waltrip Racing, Brian Vickers. Okay.
Personally, never really liked the guy, but I guess he was all right in his career. I mean, didn't really have too many notable moments besides that Dagger race back in 06, I believe it was. I don't believe many people want to talk about. I mean, I don't know. I would put Paul Menard ahead of him, honestly. He just kind of sucked his whole career.
I like Brian Vickers as a kid a lot. It sucks that his career got cut short due to blood clots. I feel like he had potential to be a pretty good driver. And yeah, that's all I had to say about Brian Vickers, to be honest, Tanner.
Brian Vickers was just that one guy in the pack, and he failed expectations at Hendrick Motorsports, but left on a right note by winning that Talladega race in a controversial way, which is kind of, you know how it is. But him moving to Red Bull was kind of interesting, and it kind of helped him develop into that superstar that he never did at Hendrick Motorsports. And when he made that chase over Kyle Busch, that kind of established himself as a future guy of the sport. But it does suck that his career got cut short by health issues that kind of derailed his opportunity of breaking out even more.
Yeah, feel bad for him, but that doesn't mean I like him. I mean, Brian Vickers has just had there's just so many moments in his career where there's so many controversial moments. Like the most obvious one is 2006, and then another obvious one is 2009. You can say whoever's fault that was. I blame Vickers, but I know most people blame Junior for that one, and I kind of see it. And then that 2011 Martinsville race where he wrecked the whole field.
Oh, Jesus.
And then had the nerve to blame Matt Kenseth.
Yep.
That I just didn't like him.
Okay, coming in 28th is, let me make sure I don't say Raven. This driver drove for Roush. He drove for BK Racing. But his most notable, he drove for Front Row. One of the best underdog wins. He won in Talladega in 2013. One of my favorite underdog wins, David Reagan. All right, I didn't say Raven. Caleb.
Oh, God, it's going to be difficult to get through this one without saying Raven Dagan. I feel like he was one of the, in terms of underdogs we've had in NASCAR history, he was definitely one of the more notable ones. Slightly underrated, I think, as a driver. with some of the accomplishments he had. He knew how to win races, even if they were at super speedways. But he was able to gain at least a little bit of a fan base, and that's noted with, again, one of the most popular Amino members, Ravid Dagan. He definitely has fans, and it just his career couldn't fully come into fruition. Wasn't too successful with Roush, but with Front Row, he was able to bring whatever car he was in, whether it was the 38, 34, or even the 36, up to the front for races like the super speedways. He was one of the better super speedway racers that we've seen in our generation, and he's underappreciated in some ways, I believe.
I never did care too much for David Reagan, to be honest. He was a pretty good underdog. He was just always there for me. But the the only really big David Reagan fan I know is Raven Dagan on the Amino. Too bad Raven's not here. Raven's not here right now. He'd be protesting because it's not higher. But anyways, Tanner.
David Reagan was that guy who was in the middle of the pack. He had some flashes of potential at Jack Roush, but never got to that opportunity. But when he got to front row, he kind of established himself as that underdog driver and provided moments that, including that Talladega win, that people will never forget. But honestly, his run at front row is kind of better than his run at Roush Fenway Racing, which has kind of basically established himself as that underdog guy, one of the most underrated people in the NASCAR community.
This is the first guy on the list that I actually like. Yeah, that too. There's not enough you can say about his front row tenure, bringing that team so far its only win, and just being that guy to do that for a team. It's just one of the most special things that you can be. Like maybe front row becomes an empire one day, probably not, but if it does, he'll always be the guy that got them their first win, and that's just something that's pretty special. And plus, he's just a very likable guy. He's actually got screen time, he's pretty likable. So
Coming in at number 27, he is a Truck Series champion. He drove for Cowboys Motorsports. He's drove for Joe Gibbs, and he is my current favorite driver. Driver the number 95, Levine Family Racing Toyota, Christopher Bell.
Caleb, that's you.
All right. Bell. It's crazy to think. Wow, he's already a bit high on this list. I mean, his rookie season, he's already all the way up here. Very talented race car driver. It seems like finally in the Cup Series, he's finally coming into himself, getting a lot better runs, especially today at Bristol. He had an absolutely amazing race that we were finally able to see some of the potential that he has racing in the Cup Series. And, he's been very successful in the lower series, getting those 16 Xfinity wins, however many truck wins he got, obviously winning that one championship in 2017. He has a lot of potential for his Cup Series career. We'll see if he can. We'll see what he can do with Levine Family Racing. I mean, that team came real close to victories last season. We can only imagine what they can do with someone like Christopher Bell, who is one of the biggest talents coming up to Cup that the sport has had in years.
I love Christopher Bell. I've seen him race somewhere. I can't remember where it was in person. I think it was somewhere in Portsmouth, Ohio, at a dirt track. And then I was watching Eldora on TV, and I saw Christopher Bell. I said, I remember that name. He won the race that I saw. And then I think he won that race, too, the Eldora race, if I'm not mistaken. Then I saw him at Daytona Flip in 2016. May not.
It was.
Yeah. And then I started following his career, and I've become a big fan of him ever since. Excited to see what the future holds for Christopher Bell. He's a talented young man. Yes, the future's bright. Tanner?
He is a rising star of this sport, and his career has been shot off like a rocket. He's rose through every lower tier series by winning a championship and races in both divisions, and his rise through Cup Series is starting to peak. He's starting to become that driver that in the lower series that he's been so good at for so long. He has a bright future ahead of him. he's going to be a future star in the making of the sport and a future champion.
It's me. I've never really. I don't personally have any particular care for or against Christopher Bell, but he's basically an underdog this season, and it was really fun watching him race top 5 at Bristol. I think he has a good shot of winning the season. He already missed the race that I thought he was going to win, but that's not important. I think Christopher Bell has a bright future in NASCAR for sure. He's I won't say he's a future champion because that stuff's hard to get, but he's going to have a really really good career and win a lot of races.
How many more races are left this season?
28, I think.
Bell will get 28 wins by season end. But anyways, on to the next thing.
29 plus the All-Star race, because they announced that they are keeping the All-Star race.
All right, number 26. This person is what dreams are made of. This person is literally the best driver in NASCAR right now. She is the hardest woman I have ever seen. Natalie Decker.
Oh, Caleb, I can't wait for this.
Sorry, Caleb.
You see, talent is something that can be very foreign to some people. And one of those drivers that's very foreign to happens to be the driver from Wisconsin, Natalie Decker. I haven't seen much out of her yet. I mean, the highlight of her career really being the top 5 she did get at Daytona. That was impressive. I mean, the first time I really heard about her was when she got the pole for an ARCA race back in 2018, I believe. And suddenly she gets to the Truck Series, just like that. And she hasn't really done too much to really change my opinion of her whatsoever. I don't think she's that good, and I don't think she's going to be, because she's just continuously going to be rushed up in her career, and before you know it, she'll probably be in Xfinity. On to you.
Okay, let me tell y'all something to y'all Decker haters. That is the definition of talent. She's got the looks. She's got the charisma. She's got the driving ability to be the best driver of all time. She's not no fucking model like Danica Patrick. She's not some no name like Haley Deegan that only got there.
Excuse me?
What?
No name.
Oh, God.
She has worked her ass off to get where she was. She came from Wisconsin. All she did as a baby was eat fucking cheese. And now she's a NASCAR driver. And she is the best one at that. She's hot. She's a license to print money. Tony Stewart. Look at her. Put her in the 14 or the 10. Kick out Kevin Harvick. Natalie Decker to Cup next year. Tanner?
Well, Natalie Decker, God bless her soul. She's a happy person on and off the racetrack, but her driving style is kind of needs some development, but she shows flashes from time to time. Well, assuming it's not the wall or anything, but she's just a nice person off the track, but her driving style is kind of not up there. But she'll just be one of those people in the middle of the pack, and just one of those people that in the NASCAR community, mostly known by the men demographic.
I have a joke here, but I'm not going to say it to keep this relatively PG.
It would suck if this got off air.
All right, next one.
All right, next one is this driver is a truck champion. He's an Xfinity champion, a multiple-time Cup Series winner. Almost won the championship in 2003, I believe. He's drove for Roush most of his career. His last win came in a Truck Series race at Texas last year. Greg Biffle.
Greg Biffle, all right. He's someone I feel like people forget about sometimes. He was one of the better drivers of the mid-2000s, came close to winning a championship a few times, most notably, I believe, in 2005. It was a great story to see him come back and then go win that truck race. I actually really rooted for him in that race for the first time. Never really saw myself as much of a Greg Biffle fan, still not, but um, he's one of those drivers that people really don't look at as much. You really don't see too many Greg Biffle fans, which makes me shocked that he was, even on this list, even this high up. But he was definitely a talented driver. Knew how to win races in Cup, and obviously a multiple-time champion down in the lower series. Just couldn't quite get it done in the Cup Series, which is unfortunate, mainly due to the fact that he came in so late. But yeah, Greg Biffle, talented driver. What else can I say?
I was never too big of a Biffle fan either. He had some nice looking paint schemes. Never really paid attention to his career much, but it was nice to see him get that chuck win at Texas in 2019. Tanner?
Good old Biff. He always stuck around at the highest level for so long. He rose through the lower series very quickly by winning everything he won, and the championships in both series. And in the Cup Series, he was that middle of the pack guy, but above and always in that championship battle from time to time. But overall, he always gets forgotten in the middle. He's always in the middle of the pack, no matter what. But overall, he was very loyal to Jack Roush by staying there for his entire career. And having that one-off race by coming back at Texas in 2019 was a pretty special moment for him. And he still has love in the NASCAR community.
Number 1. All Greg Biffle fans are trolls. Number 2. I feel bad for Greg Biffle, really. He got a late start to his career. He only got to Cup, I think, at age 32?
Yeah.
He for how late he got to Cup, he made a pretty good career out of himself. Makes you wonder what could have been if he got to Cup like at the time Bell was, like around 24, 25, the kind of shockwaves he could have made in his career.
Speaking of what could have been, that brings us to number 24. This driver was probably the hardest, not in a gay way either, the hardest young driver to come through in the 2000s. Was winning races like crazy in 2006, I believe. This driver drove for Abraham, Richard Petty Motorsports, Red Bull, Hendrick, and Levine. Before he got dehydrated, it is Casey Kane.
You completely derailed what I was going to say. I knew you were going to bring that up, man. Dehydration Kane. So, yeah, I feel like he was an underrated driver over the course of his career. Had a lot of potential. When he was over at Evernham, was able to win. How many races in his career did he win? Like 18?
Yeah, 18.
Like
18 wins. Still a very solid driver. Just couldn't quite have a championship caliber season with the teams he was on. I mean, it was great to see that kind of last hoorah with Hendrick Motorsports getting that win at the Brickyard. But then, he just kind of got sent off to Levine and then just disappeared. And then suddenly he got more dehydrated than someone who lives in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's really unfortunate to see. But he was a great driver over the course of his career. Maybe at some point he'll come back for a one-off or something, because I still think he has a little bit in him if he's with a better race team.
I always thought Casey Kane was going to be a Cup champion, honestly. He showed so much flash in like 2006 to 2010. And then when he got at Hendrick, he fell off a little bit. He still showed flashes of brilliance. But the moment I remember for Casey Kane the most was his scary crash in the Aquafina car at Michigan, I believe.
I think it was Pocono.
Oh, no, 2010.
That's the moment of Casey Kane I remember the most, as well as his Indy win. But yeah, Casey Kane should have been a way bigger driver than he was. He went, I think, if he would have went to a bigger team than instead of a dying Abraham Motorsports, I think we'd be talking about Casey Kane as a top 20 driver of all time. Tanner?
Casey Kane was that guy who rose through the occasion very quickly at Evernham. But once all that stuff happened at the team, his potential started to fall off. But he still had that competitive fire in him. He was still at the top of his game. But once ownership started changing, he started to fall off, which it was probably best for him to leave that team and move on to elsewhere, which led to him to go into Hendrick Motorsports, which actually gave him the opportunity to show that potential that people missed like he did in 2006 when that breakout year he had. But ever since, but what most people forget is that once his personal friend Jason Leffler passed away, his confidence started to fall off. He wasn't that once competitive guy that he once was after his death, and he just faded off into irrelevancy after that. But he always was clutch at the right moment during his career, like multiple chase appearances at the last moment. But him winning that Brickyard 400 will forever summarize him as that one hit magical moment he always has. But it's a true shame that he never got that one opportunity to finish that farewell season.
I've Casey Kane is another one of the guys I really liked. I feel like the defining moment of his career, maybe like the turning point in his career. Maybe seems like a lot of Hendrick guys have a turning point in their career at Pocono. I feel like that 2015 crash did something to him as well because before that crash, he was way safe in the 2015 chase. He was eighth in points, I think. He was cruising, and then that happened, and it just one thing led to another. He just stopped running well, and then he just couldn't get back up. Just couldn't get back to the level he had in 2012, back to what he was in 2012. And then I think the dehydration probably started kicking in around 2016 to 2018 for Casey Kane. Just a huge what could have been for number 24, I think it was.
Yep. Tanner, you're being called to check the chat. I repeat, Tanner Campus, you're being called to check the chat.
Okay, I'm going to the office right now.
All right. Number 23. This driver is the best driver to never win a championship. My fourth favorite driver of all time. He's drove for the likes of Hendrick Motorsports, Roush, the 01 team. Don't remember who that was. Stuart Haas, Michael Waltrip, Mark Martin, number 23.
Mark Martin to me is one of the most respectable drivers in NASCAR history. He wasn't someone that was really going to rough you up too much on the racetrack, but he still had unbelievable amounts of talent throughout the course of and a really, really long career that lasted from the 80s to like 2013. Raced for so many different teams and was able to find success wherever he went. And he was just a name that you always knew. And it seemed like every other year he would be competing for the championship. He knew how to win races. He knew how to contend for those championships, but he just couldn't get it done. And it just sucks to see. He's someone that you really wish could have gotten that championship because he really did deserve it. Whether he got one or multiple, Mark Martin's just one of the all-time greats. And is he in the Hall of Fame? He should be.
Yes.
He is? Yeah. Deserves his rightful spot in the Hall of Fame.
All right. I'd like to have a little announcement here. Before we get to the top 10, Carter will be doing a random draw for a winner to get 200 Amino coins. If you are in the chat now, please say here. But Mark Martin, one of my all-time favorite drivers, fourth. Loved him when we drove for Hendrick Motorsports. Never really had a dull paint scheme. Not liked him as a kid because he was a Viagra man. Because I was a stupid little kid. Because penis peel, funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, that just got thrown into the broadcast.
At least he didn't say Kevin Conway.
Fuck Kevin Conway. But Mark Martin, that's an awesome driver. Could have won a championship. I was rooting for him in 2009. Honestly, even though I was a Gordon fan, I was wanting him to go out there and win that championship. But yeah, Tanner.
Our good old Mark the Kid Martin. He always was that elite driver throughout his career. and it's a shame that he never got that championship that he once deserved. But overall, he always kept a smile on his face every time. He always missed out on a big opportunity. He always was that enjoyable guy that people in the community respected. He will forever be noticed in the NASCAR community by his legacy that he never won the big one, but he doesn't care. He's still loved by the people in the community, no matter what. Those those moments will forever live with him forever. But his career overall was great, and it's well deserving for the Hall of Fame.
Oh no.
Big rip.
Oh no. Mark Martin did win OD IROC championship, so I guess he has that going for him. I personally don't have any attachment to Mark Martin, but yeah, he's definitely a great driver. I mean, 40 you can't say enough about 40 career wins. Although my personal favorite moment of him will always be that Busch Series race in 1994 at Bristol.
Where he pulled a me before it was cool.
I was pulling Caleb Marinelli's before it was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean he did win a few push races, so I think that makes up for it.
He was once an all-time leader.
Yeah, before Kyle. But anyways, on to number 22. This driver has drove for Penske. He's drove for Roush. He's drove for RCR. Stewart Haas crash into the wall, into the air. Number 22, Ryan Newman.
Ryan Newman's an interesting case here. I've gained respect for the guy from recovering from the most horrific crash I've ever witnessed. Overall, I feel like he's been, even though he hasn't really shown it as much, he's one of the more talented guys in the field. He's one of the smartest guys in the field. His early days, man, that 2003 season, just the complete inconsistency, but the ability to go out there and win as many races as he possibly could. The guy knows how to win races, and he's been with any race team that you can think of over the course of his career, and he was an amazing young prospect. But I don't know. At some point, he just kind of lost it. Those later years at Penske weren't necessarily the greatest. Was able to get that Daytona 500, but overall, I don't know if he's been Hall of Fame caliber, but he's definitely been very notable for the sport. He's had some memorable moments, and we all kind of felt a bit more like Ryan Newman fans after the Daytona 500 earlier this year.
Yeah, that's a scary moment, definitely, 100%. One of the scariest moments I've ever watched as a NASCAR fan. Especially at press conference. Oh, I was shaking. I was scared. But Ron Newman, Newman's just there for me. He's all right. Never hated him. Never liked him, really. He's just iffy to me. Just meh. He's a meh driver. But yeah, Tanner.
Ryan Newman's career is kicked off like a rocket. He knew what he was doing. Going to college at Purdue, he's perhaps the smartest man in the garage, but he's always been that middle of the pack guy. He's never hardly been in that championship battle throughout his career, but he's always been in there. He's still remembered no matter what. But this past year's 2020 Daytona 500 forever changed my opinion on him. Him recovering from that crash that most people would thought he was gone, but it was truly an amazing moment that he walked out of that hospital 2 days with his children, and that will be forever the moment I will forever remember Ryan Newman as. But overall, he's been late in his career. He's been that team builder. He knows what he's doing. He's got the experience. He's developing young teams who fell down into irrelevancy and bring them back into relevant status after so many years of frustration.
By the way, everyone, get as many people as you can into the live stream, because if we get to 20, we're at 17 right now. Tanner reveals his face to the whole world. Ryan Newman to me is just he's just kind of funny. I think because how hard he drives, how hard he blocks. It's just a meme at this point. Got blocked by Ryan Newman again. But yeah, he's a very interesting person for sure. Even if he thinks the moon landing's fake.
Okay, coming in at number 21. This driver has never won a Cup champion. Yeah, he won in 2004, I believe.
Wow, selling him short. You say he's one of your favorites.
Not anymore, not after Phoenix. But this
Wow.
driver, Joe for Penske. He's Joe for Stewart-Haas, Chip Ganassi,
Phoenix Racing.
Phoenix Racing, Furniture Row, the driver the number 1, Chevy Camaro, Kurt Busch.
Ah, yes, Curtis. I've been kind of waiting for this one. Kurt's always been there, one of the top guys I've rooted for. I've rooted for him since I've rooted for Kyle. I've really just, both of them together. Kurt's really interesting because, I feel like that first half of his career, he was really just kind of a hothead out there. Just got mad at a bunch of things, very similar to his younger brother. But he's always been very talented in the sport. Obviously got the first championship in the chase format. He knows how to go out there and win races. That's all he's been doing his entire life. But, as soon as he got, later on in his career, he's really become such a nicer guy. I've noticed in his post-race interviews, he's been so much more positive about things and appreciative of the team that he's on. And, it's just really awesome to see. He's just such an upbeat and positive guy nowadays as opposed to what he used to be back in the day. But he is and always will be one of my favorite drivers, and he's such an awesome guy, awesome race car driver. Love Kurt Busch.
I like Kurt Busch for the longest time, up until Phoenix this year when he made a stupid move and put Christopher Bell on the wall. But minus that, he was a hothead for a little bit. And then when he won the 2016 Daytona 500, I really become a fan of Kurt Busch then. 2017. I really become a fan of Kurt Busch then. Always a fun driver to watch. I don't think we got much more time with him as a driver. I think he'll retire in 2 or 3 years. But yeah, Kurt Busch is a good driver. Hall of Fame worthy. But yeah, Tanner. And I'll be right back. I'm going to go get a water.
Okay. Kurt Busch for me has been that guy who his career started off like a rocket. He was that rising star, that young gun that would dominate the sport for many years to come, which he did. But overall, he was too young. He had some moments like his temper kind of burned some bridges with some teams, and it kind of derailed some moments of him being that championship caliber driver. But he was always there. But when he started maturing later in his years, he started appreciating those moments, and he's that guy who will forever be in that top 10 category as an elite driver. But it's definitely Hall of Fame worthy by a long shot. He'll have a lasting impact on the sport until the day it goes away.
I might be one of those I'm not sure how many people are like me, but I like both Kurt Busches. Because the old rageaholic Kurt Busch had some savage moments.
Jimmy Spencer.
Oh, that was fun. That was funny. And then NASCAR had to step in and end that too. That sucked. But come on, just let them beat each other up. Come on. But Kurt Busch, the kiss my ass moment.
The Bob Pockrass incident.
Oh, that might be my favorite.
Yeah.
His 30 races at Phoenix Racing.
Yeah,
that time is that his ex-wife tried to get him for.
Well, that wasn't really him. That was her. That was a corrupt. That was a corrupt
to see the revenge, and it's like, yep.
That was a crooked.
That was him.
That was a crooked piece of shit. But
yes. We all know where she's going.
But yeah, Kurt Busch, both Hothead or not, he's one of my favorites.
Okay, number 20. Don't know why this guy's so high. No one, I highly doubt anyone on the Amino ever watched this guy, but 7-time champion, 200 wins, Richard Petty.
Oh boy. It's interesting being a Kyle Busch fan sometimes because, we had the discussion, oh, is Kyle Busch better than Richard Petty? No, he isn't. Can he be? Only time will tell. But, again, same with Jared. I don't know why he's really up here. I mean, people on the Amino, I don't know anybody on the Amino that was like around before 1992. And, I mean, I guess root for who you want to, but I don't know anybody who's actually been around to really see him race live. I mean, even so, I mean, that later half of his career was really just unsuccessful and forgetful and had very dull moments of his. But still, gotta respect the man. He's the king, the 7-time champion, 200 Cup wins. Yeah, I mean, really, I can't say too much else about him.
Yeah, there's nothing I can really say about Richard Petty. Never watched him race, so I don't really know much about him. Tanner?
Richard Petty, if any of y'all were during his time, you must be some legend. Overall, Richard Petty's impact on the sport will forever live on. His 200 wins, his 7 championships are people that's what they know him by, as that king of this sport. But overall, his career started out like a rocket and stayed there until his later years where he fell off. But he's still in the sport, which is great. He's always involved. He loves the sport with everything in his fiber. But overall, his legacy will forever live on until the day NASCAR closes its doors.
I will restrain myself for the most part when talking about this. And I will just say Richard Petty is not the greatest driver of all time.
Okay. Number 19. Don't know how to give an introduction to this person because I never watched him. Never really even heard of this guy. But Davey Allison, number 19.
I wish I could say more about Davey Allison. He was my dad's favorite driver. Obviously, until his untimely passing, which was very unfortunate for the sport. I would have loved to see this guy race. He seemed like he was a very interesting character, both on and off the racetrack. It's just tragic what happened. He really, I feel like, could have become a Cup Series champion, knew how to go out there and win races, was successful whenever he was on the racetrack. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say too much else because, again, he hasn't been around since 1993.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about him, to be honest. Sorry if this is a boring answer, but yeah, I don't know him really. Tanner?
Davey Allison was basically thrust into the sport. It was a family tradition, and he was very good at it from the start until the end. He always had that competitive fire, and when he got red hot at Robert Yates Racing, a championship was literally in his grasp. But sadly, the Lord above usually has to call their children home someday. He did leave he left a lot left on the table that will forever be missing, but his legacy on the sport is still felt to this day.
I have nothing to say about Davey Allison. I know and care nothing about him.
Okay, next up. This driver is Joe for Joe Gibbs only, that I know of. He is the second best driver to never win a Cup Series championship, but I think he will get one by the end of his career. Denny Hamlin.
Danny Hamlin, all right. This is an interesting one. Dang, I can't believe he's this low, honestly. He's one of the best drivers in the Cup Series right now. He has been his whole career, even during the slump year. He's always been out there contending for race wins ever since the start of his Cup Series career. Probably had the greatest rookie season that we have and will ever see in the Cup Series. And he's just been, right off the bat, as soon as he got into Cup, he's just been going out there contending for race wins year in, year out, even through the injuries, even through the bad seasons he's had. Denny Hamlin will win a Cup Series championship, at least I believe. It might even be this year, it might be next year. But if he ends his career without a Cup Series championship, it will definitely be very unfortunate. but he's very up there with the likes of Mark Martin in terms of guys who haven't done it yet. But I do believe that he's going to. He is a very respectable driver, and it sucks that he gets hate from a good amount of people, especially from an incident that's long past us.
Speaking of that incident, I was a Denny Hamlin fan up to that point.
Mm.
I just never cared for him now. I was a big Denny Hamlin fan. He was literally my second favorite driver behind Chase Elliott when that happened.
He was behind Chase Elliott in that race.
Shut up, Caleb. I just thought it was a stupid move. He's a talented driver. He just needs that championship to cement him as one of NASCAR's greats, I think. Tanner?
Danny has been good since the day he was born and wanted to race. He told Joe Gibbs that he wanted to race for his team, and look where he's at. He's at the team, and he's been good ever since joining there. But the moment that always keeps me remembering is the moments that he can't close the 2010 championship. It'll forever be the missing of his legacy. But over time, he matured. He finally got into that championship rhythm and established himself as a championship contender. He almost closed the deal in 2019, but this year it's gonna. He has a strong chance of happening, and that fire is still burning into him. His Hall of Fame career will. Is the only thing that is missing is that championship, and I believe he will have it before he calls it a day.
Yeah, I really like Denny Hamlin. I think he. I mean, before 2017, I think we'd all say his window's passed, but it's reopened with a vengeance since 2018. Um, yeah, Denny Hamlin, I think will. I think he probably has another 5 years worth of championship four appearances in him at this rate. He's been absolutely stellar this season. He's always been a pretty smart guy to listen to. I mean, he was wrong on the Chase Elliott thing, but yeah, I like Denny Hamlin.
Okay. Number 17. This driver drove for Penske Racing. Don't know what the number 12 was whenever he drove for it, but he is the 2012 champion and my fifth favorite driver of all time.
The 12 was Penske.
Brad Keselowski, driver of the number 2 Dodge. Kyle Busch is an ass. Brad Keselowski.
Yeah. This is very interesting, at least for me to talk about, because for the first half of my of the time I had being a NASCAR fan, I hated Brad Keselowski. I hated his guts. That's just kind of how I was early on as that young Kyle Busch fan. But over the years, I've really started to gain a respect for him. He's finally matured, and he's one of the top drivers in the sport. I believe he's the best driver at Team Penske, and he's been underappreciated these past few years. Obviously, it was shown here today as he kind of just pulled a win out of nowhere. But if Roger Penske always got to do it.
You've got 21 people, Tanner.
When you get to me, I will.
If Roger Penske lets him walk, then that would be a big mistake because he is one of the greatest drivers we've seen, at least so far in the 21st century of NASCAR. And he's definitely a Hall of Famer at this point. He can go out there and win races year in, year out, and he is a champion. So I got to respect him for that, even with what he's done in the past.
Just 1 minute. Let me type this message out in the chat. But anyways, I love Brad Keselowski. One of my favorite drivers of all time. One of my current favorite drivers. Just an excellent driver. There's a stint there where I didn't care for him in 2014. Around Texas time. He's a little immature there for a little bit, but he's definitely matured into a great driver. You can't say otherwise. He lets his voice be heard in the garage. He's there to help the drivers grow into a better drivers. And yeah, Brad Keselowski is one of my favorites of all time. Should be higher up if it was my list, but that's besides the point. Tanner?
Good old big bad Brad Keselowski has been on fire since the day he came into the sport, shocking the world at Talladega. And it does suck that he always feels that moment that he got heartbroken by Rick Hendrick. And ever since then, he has been on a redemption story to prove him wrong, which he did later in the years by winning 30 races in a span of 10 years, and that leading to that 2012 championship. His career, he knows everything about the sport. He's vocal. He knows an opinion, which was developed by another guy who later in the list. But he's been that caliber driver who competes for championships year in and year out. But lately, he's been underappreciated in the
Tanner,
community.
you're forgetting
Face
something.
reveal.
After my statement, please. But overall, Brad Keselowski has a Hall of Fame career, downright Hall of Fame worthy. But his career will forever be known as a redemption story to prove doubters wrong. And in about 1,
Go.
2, 3. Boom.
There it is!
There's the face reveal.
Hello, everyone.
Tan the man, Tanner
Tanner
Campos.
Campus.
What up?
Woohoo!
What a sexy fucking beast, am I right?
Oh my god.
All right, back to 20. Just kidding.
Brad
All right, Zach.
Brad Keselowski is definitely one of my. He's not one of my favorites per se, but he's one of the guys I have the most respect for. He's getting older in the sport, so I'm not so sure he can go out and win it. I'm not sure he has another championship run in him, but he's definitely a really good driver, and I think people are going to be pissed when he probably gets the 48 next season.
All right, number 16. This driver has really shown. Wait, let me rephrase this. Let me think. This driver has went from nothing to something in a span of 3 years. Zach's favorite driver, 2-time Cup Series winner, Alex Bowman.
All right. Alex Bowman is become one of the best drivers in the Cup Series. I'm kind of shocked, impressed, but happy with what he's shown the past 2 seasons, and this year I'd say being really his breakout. Now he's proven he can win races. He's very, very talented, and that's really because of the fact that he's been able to take the time over the course of his career with some of these lower funded teams, racing around these Cup guys, learning how they drive, learning all these racetracks, literally finishing in every single position in the field possible. And he has become probably a future star of this series. He already is a star right now, and maybe even a future champion. I know Zach would like the sound of that. Alex Bowman, Cup Series champion. You never know. Maybe he'll finally bring that 88, the success in the championship that Hendrick Motorsports has been looking for. Only time will tell.
I never really heard of Alex Bowman. I know he started for a concussed Dale Jr. And then Phoenix 2016.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Phoenix 2016, am I correct on this?
Yes, Paul Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yes, impressed me so much. And then I heard he was taking over the 88 in 2018. And didn't show much in 2018. Shown signs of improvement in 2019. And he's kicked down the fucking door in 2020. Sorry for my cursing. But
That's all right.
absolutely kicked down the door. Had, dare I say, almost a championship favorite. Him or Chase Elliott or Denny. Maybe Brad too. But anyways, we'll talk about other people later. But Alex Bowman, he is my current 5th favorite driver in the Cup Series. Just a fun driver to watch, honestly. Just sucks that he can't get the finishes he deserves, but he'll fix that going along the season. This is his first season of really being a breakout star. And, oh gosh, he will fix the mistakes that he's had by not being able to finish a race correctly. Tanner?
Alex Bowman's career started out as a guy, in the middle of the pack guy. Nothing spectacular at first. His career almost looked like it was dead until someone saved him. And him going to Hendrick Motorsports helped him provide that moment, that spark he needed. And ever since then, he's been on that roll. In 2019, he broke out by getting that triumphant win that people said that he would never do. And 2020, he's punching that door down. That championship is coming very soon. He's got a career, many years left. Very underappreciated in the community, with very likable guy in the community. Very underappreciated by sponsors and people. But overall, he has a career that is going to be noteworthy no matter what.
This is going to be good, guys.
Give us the moment.
Alex Bowman is the single greatest driver NASCAR has ever seen, and if you don't think I'm right, then you know absolutely nothing about this sport. You're not a real fan. No one likes you. You should go die in the Mariana Trench where no one will ever see you. All right, got that out of the way. Whew,
That just got thrown into the broadcast.
damn, that felt good.
Well, we gotta need those moments.
All right.
Wait, I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done.
Oh my
Excuse me.
I didn't think you was.
Alex Bowman. The moment I think that I really started liking Alex Bowman was that Phoenix Fall race in 2016, and that race was awesome. I haven't ever gotten to watch it, but him leading so many laps, like the first 100 laps straight, and then 200 laps overall in the race, and then add on to the fact that he'd won the pole, he was like super fast in all those sessions. Add on to that was only his seventh race that season, I think. He was only running part-time, and he was doing that. It was just awesome. And then I started to look at his backstory. Nick Nelson's trying to flex in the chat. And then I looked at his backstory. The guy was involved in a USAC midget. Like, I've never seen footage of the actual accident that Alex Bowman was in, and I'm not sure I ever will want to see it. But he said his body got destroyed in the accident. He broke both of his legs. He doesn't remember any of the accident. He collapsed his lungs.
Wow.
And it was something that a lot of guys would never come back from. And to not only come back, but to become one of the future bright stars in NASCAR, to become a true, legit championship contender, coming back from that. That's why I love Alex Bowman, because nothing can stop, because literally nothing can stop him.
Are you done?
Now I am. I think I went on for like 5 minutes there.
Okay, number 15. This driver has driven for Michael Waltrip Racing. Furniture Row and Joe Gibbs. He is the 2017 Cup Series champion. MTJ, Martin Truex Jr., number 15.
I honestly, I don't have too much to say about Truex. I like him. He's a good driver and stuff, but doesn't have the most personality of drivers in the sport. And when he wins, it's not necessarily the most exciting or exciting race. Usually, it's his and Kevin Harvick's wins are very similar in a lot of ways. It's kind of those dull races, but he's not a bad guy by any means. I feel like he's overhated by the community, especially for a few incidents such as 2 seasons ago over at Martinsville. But not really too much to say. He's not the most interesting guy in the world, but it's impressive to see his transformation since he's gotten with Toyota. Started with Furniture Row, now being here with Gibbs, and I mean, only time will tell this season if he'll be able to continue that championship caliber relevance even without Cole Pern.
Martin Truex Jr. He was one of my favorites when he was in the 56. Because when you're little, you go more towards the bright paint schemes. And Martin Truex Jr. had a beautiful number 56 when he was with MWR. And then he got the Furniture Row when they were Chevys, and I still sort of liked him. Then he started winning, and I was like, didn't care for him. He's not bad. I have a lot of respect for him, especially for what he went through with his wife, unfortunately. And that Coke 600 win in 2017?
16.
16
was one of the most emotional moments in NASCAR history. It was just so amazing to see MTJ get that win. He was very deserving of the 2017 championship. Hell, maybe even the 2018 championship, honestly. It's just amazing to see the rise from Martin Truex Jr., to be honest. From really not doing anything, really, just being a mid-pack, maybe top 10 here and there driver to a championship caliber driver was amazing. It's always good to see stories like that. But yeah, Martin Truex Jr., number 15, Tanner.
Truex's story started off as a guy with a lot of potential, with a lot of bright future ahead of him. But when he was at DEI, he just faded off. He just didn't have the opportunity to develop as that star like he did at MWR and later at Furniture Row. But he was respected. People wanted to see him break out, which when he was going through that personal stuff in his life, he started to become the man that people wanted him to be, which led to him dominating races time and time again, and that championship that he finally got so many years later. And he'll be a Hall of Famer when the day he retires, I believe.
Bark.
Sorry, it's my bark.
Tanner's barking.
Who let Tanner out of his cage? Overrated.
Wow.
I have respect for what he went through. That no one deserves to go through what he and Sherry Pollux went through. That being said, he's still one of my least favorite drivers. He's just a whiner. He's just a big whiner. Like the 2019 Coca-Cola 600, the nerve he had to tell race leader David Reagan to pull over. How entitled do you have to be to ask an underdog race leader for whom this win could be huge to pull over? And it's not like Reagan had been running 25th the whole race. He was top 10 and actually could have legit won it. And he just cries a lot. He's almost as bad as Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch has gotten better. Truex has gotten worse since he got good.
Okay, number 14. The driver, Martin Truex Jr., said that he would not win the war. This driver drove for Joe Gibbs. He drove for Team Penske. One of the most exciting drivers on the track. One of Caleb's favorite drivers of all time. Probably his favorite.
Name fresh on him.
Joseph Thomas Logano.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good.
Boy.
This one's good.
Oh boy. I think it's pretty funny we do this today because I actually defended Joey today. However, that's not really gonna cover for what he's done in the past. But I'm gonna give my opinion on him. Even with what he's done in the past, to get everybody that he possibly can angry, and then going, I'm not gonna get into it too much. Joey's had an impact on the sport, I've got to say. He's an exciting driver, whether you like him or not, which I do not, but still, over at Gibbs, he really didn't do much. Came into the series way too early, the definition of rushed. But as soon as he had a few years in the Cup Series and was able to get to Penske, he became so much better. The only negative thing I can really see about him is really his driving style in a few events. But, we kind of need an aggressive driver out there, but sometimes he just kind of takes it a little bit far. While I'm not really a fan of him whatsoever, and I, in fact, despise him most of the time and don't like to see him win, he's not the worst guy we've ever seen out there. And, if you want to be a fan of him, you can go right ahead. I'm not going to say anything about it. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say too much. I mean, it would just be me rambling off at this point, stuff that's already been said. So I'm just going to move on.
Caleb didn't really mean any of them comments. He really loves them. But anyways, Joey Logano. Fun to watch. I like Joey Logano a lot. But if I have one gripe about Joey Logano, which is not his fault, change the damn Pennzoil scheme. It's been the same since 2013. I know it might sound selfish because back in the day they drove the same paint scheme for years. But come on. You can do a lot with yellow and red. They go together great. Just ask Hulk Hogan. But anyways, Joey, I was really, really excited when he won the 2018 championship, as I know Caleb was as well.
Not really.
He's probably jumping down joy.
I was not thrilled. I will let you know that. I was not thrilled. But keep going.
It's opposite day, so he was really thrilled. But anyways, Joey's just pretty fun guy to watch. Yeah, that's all I'd say. Fun guy to watch. Maybe a little too high on the most popular driver. I didn't expect that many people to have Joey Logano on their list. But, yeah, Tanner?
Joey Logano, he's that one guy you can love or hate, but his career started off rocky. He was that young kid who had to learn his way through the sport, but once he got to Team Penske, he officially kicked off. He became the man that he wanted to be at Joe Gibbs Racing, and ever since then, he's been that young gun who finally sparked into that elite driver. And he has so many years left in his career. He's got another championship or two left into him, and he'll be forever remembered as an aggressive driver. And it's noteworthy to be in the Hall of Fame someday.
Honestly, there's not much that I can say about Logano that these guys already haven't said. I like Logano a lot. I mean, I wish he would fight his own fights, but I mean, you can't always get everything you want from a guy. I mean, at least he gets in fights, but at least there's that.
Okay, number 13. He's probably the most boring great driver that's ever raced in NASCAR. He has no personality, to be honest. He's bland. He's boring. He's a 2014 Cup Series champion. Undeservedly, may I add, if it wasn't for Ryan Newman, this person would not be the 2014 champion. And this guy is Zach's favorite driver of all time. The driver with number 4 for Stewart Haas Racing, Kevin Harvick.
All right. I know if I say too much negative about him, someone here is not going to like it too much. They're not in the podcast right now, but I know they're probably watching. But, Kevin Harvick, I think I mentioned it before. He's the most mad driver for me. Like, I really can't say that much. I don't like him. I don't hate him. The only time I really defend him is when it comes to the few rants he's had in the past about the Dillon brothers and how they're just spoon-fed everything they get. But this isn't about them. This is about Harvick. His wins are usually the boring races. He usually wins the boring races. It's like, oh, Harvick won again. It's all right, I guess. But really, I can't say too much about him. I mean, I wouldn't say he has, no personality. I mean, early on in his career, that definitely wasn't the case. He used to be one of those real hotheads in the field. But, it's a great story to see how he was able to get into the Cup Series. I mean, it's unfortunate how it happened. But the way how he was able to hop into that car and make such an impact early on, and he's just been on the gas ever since. He's one of the biggest talents we have in the series right now. Whether you love him or hate him or feel mad about him like I do, he'll be here to stay for the next several years because no matter what the age is of him, he's still going to be out there contending for races and even championships.
Kevin. I've always hated you my entire NASCAR career. Don't know why. His paint schemes were beautiful. I just hated him as a kid. Legit hated him. So let me tell you a little story. Not mean to get off topic or anything, but it's about Kevin Harvick. It's about my 9th birthday. Right? And my aunt got me 2 diecasts. It was a Jimmy Johnson one and a Kevin Harvick one. I don't know what I did to the Kevin Harvick one.
What'd you do?
I took a hammer and absolutely destroyed it for no reason. I hated Kevin Harvick as a kid. He's just bored, and I don't like him really too much now. I've gained a little bit more respect for him as I've gotten older. I was going to say matured, but I'm not matured at all. But that's besides the point. He's just boring to me. He's bland. Like, I don't know how this guy has a big fan base for him to even be this high. What does he do to be this high? But drive. He's not interactive with the fans. He barely celebrates when he wins. But yeah, Harvick's boring. Tanner?
Kevin Harvick, he's been okay. He's been a good guy in the sport, but he's had problems maturing when he was at RCR. He had always had that potential to be a champion, but during his beginning years, he was just that punk kid who just got on people's nerves, and including mine from time to time. But once he got to SHR, he clicked. He became that driver that he was supposed to be at RCR, and ever since then, he's been at the top of his game. And he's fighting off Father Time like it's nothing. And I expect him to at least get one more championship before he hangs up his helmet. It's noteworthy. He'll be in the Hall of Fame someday, eventually. And Zach is having a fun moment.
Zach, what happened?
Zach. What?
What?
No, he's not. What? He's never gonna make another Final Four appearance. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I can't even see the chat, so I don't know.
He's not gonna make another Final Four appearance. He's not even gonna make another Final Four appearance. Never mind a championship. Plus, he lost.
God, I guess it's time to go back into hibernation.
This might be better than my Alex Bowman thing.
Oh my God.
I started up the fire. Go ahead and finish it.
Harvick. You know, there was a time I used to like Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick
really
won the race that got me hooked into NASCAR, the 2007 Daytona 500. Everyone knows that finish. And when he won the 2014 championship, I was happy for him. I was happy when he won that championship. Good for him. He struggled his ass off to get to that point. He deserved the 2014 championship. There's just no... I'm having a hard time finding the words to describe what his what I think of his 2015, but let me try. Huh.
Give us it.
Kevin Harvick is the biggest cheater in NASCAR history. The single biggest cheater. He shouldn't have been in the round of 8 in 2015. He should not have been in the final, even close to the Final Four. There is no way he did not wreck Trevor Bayne on purpose at Talladega. There is no way. There is just the level of stupidity that would have had to go into the defending champion wrecking Trevor Bayne at 100 miles an hour on a track that could support 4 wide where they're only 2 wide. The amount of stupidity that it would take for the defending champion to wreck him. He did it on purpose. No one's that stupid. And if he is that stupid, then I wouldn't be shocked. But then he cheated 2 times in 2018 and got caught. This dude just cheats constantly. There's just nothing likable about him. He's a whiner. He's a cheater. And it pisses me off that he's still good at like 47,000 years old. Like, how is he still this good? Oh my God. Kevin Harvick is the single most infuriating driver I've ever watched. God damn, I hate him. Anyway, next.
Is no one gonna... Hey. Yeah.
We have a little surprise.
All right, so pardon the interruption. I'd like to make an announcement.
This announcement.
These names are going into here, and they are going to be drawn. You might be asking, why are there coins? Now there isn't. Stay tuned.
How dare you
Oh,
dump
man.
money on the floor?
Wow, Carter.
I'm offended. To be
All
honest.
right, 2 more people before we get to the winner of the 200 coins. Up next, he shouldn't have left. Carter should not have left. He should have been able to speak about this guy. This guy was a 2003 Cup Series champion. The reason we have the playoffs, honestly. Should have been the 2013 champion. Driver the number 42, Matt Kenseth.
That still is weird to hear. The driver of the number 42, Matt Kenseth. Still, love Matt Kenseth. I can't ever think of a moment where I didn't like him. Very talented driver, amazing driver, knew how to win races. I really wish I was able to see him go out there and at least make it to the Final Four. You know, it was just so fun to watch. Even if it seemed like at times he didn't really have too much of a personality. I mean, there were incidents such as Martinsville 2015, which is still one of my most favorite moments in NASCAR history. I still remember I was rolling on the ground laughing. But still, you know, it's great to see him back. He's a modern-day Mark Martin, and, I mean, he's probably as good as Mark Martin at this point. I don't know what else I can say about him because I've spent so much time in the past just talking about how great Matt Kenseth truly is, and he obviously has a massive fan base. Guys like Carter, guys like Eric Estep, who are fans of this guy. He's truly awesome. Shut up, Jared. Anyways, let's move on to Jared.
Matt Kenseth, pretty good driver. My 3rd favorite driver of all time. A fun driver to watch, honestly. Really was rooting for him in 2013. Heartbreak that he didn't win that championship, honestly. That's when I really became a Matt Kenseth fan, was 2013. And yeah, it was sad to see him retire in 2017. But then he came back in 2018. Skipped a year, now back in 2020. I don't think he's going to win this year, unfortunately. I've just not really seen the speed too much, besides the first Darlington race. But yeah, Matt Kenseth is a great driver, has a great fan base. Yeah, Matt Kenseth, number 12. Tanner?
Kenseth he's been a respectable guy, in my opinion. I like him. When I first started, I kind of had a little hatred against him, but over time, I kind of respect him and appreciate him as that guy who always was that consistent guy who never got that second championship. But when he won that Phoenix race, it was very special to see because we didn't know if that was the last time we'll ever see him in a race car. But when he came back for that part-time deal, it's kind of weird, but it still was something to see. But in 2020, it's kind of strange seeing him in a Chevy, and I'm hoping he gets one more win before he hangs up the helmet permanently. But overall, I've always liked him, and I will always remember him at the bottom of my heart as a legend of this sport.
Matt Kenseth. I like him, sort of. Did you know that Matt Kenseth had like a 22nd place average starting position in 2003? I don't know.
Wow.
That's just a fact that I always found kind of funny. That the year he won the championship, he barely ever qualified in the top 20. But that's just how good he was. He didn't have to qualify in the top 20 to be a good driver. He knew how to be in the running when it counted. He's just one of those really talented drivers that knew how to take care of his equipment, didn't push it too hard, but wasn't soft either. He pushed it just as much as he had to consistently be up front and win.
Thank you, Jack, for them kind words, Michael and Annette.
Shut up.
All right, one more person that we got to talk about before we take our short break. As Carter will be revealing who gets the 200 coins. But first, we have to go over one more driver. This driver has drove for BK Racing. He has drove for Levine. Yeah, Go Fast, Levine.
Now the Wood Brothers.
Now the Wood Brothers, an overhyped driver, may I add. Garbage fire, no good for nothing, Matt DiBenedetto.
GG.
Wouldn't say no good for nothing. Early on in his career, he was very underappreciated. It actually, though, took me, a while. Feel like I was one of those at one point that really didn't appreciate the guy. I saw him as just another one of those back markers in the field. Until about 2016, 2017, when he started getting up there with BK Racing, he was one of the few guys on that race team that I saw as talented because he was able to get good runs with that team, most notably that finish that he got at Bristol, that top 10 finish with BK Racing on Fierce Speed. And then he finally gets full-time ride with Go Fast, shows a few flashes here and there. But we really started knowing the real Matt Benedetto just last season when he was with Levine Family Racing. And God, I just remember that Bristol night race. It's been so long since I rooted for a guy to win a race that much. I was so into that race. I wanted Matt to win that race so bad, but he just couldn't get it done. He's such a nice guy. I had the pleasure of being able to meet him just last year in the fall race over at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And he is such a genuine guy. He's one of the nicest guys you'll meet. He's an amazing person. He's great on and off the racetrack, and now he's in equipment where he really does have the chance to go out there and win races if he wants to. His time's coming very, very soon. If he could do it in Levine equipment, he can definitely do it in Wood Brothers Racing equipment. Time will only tell how far Matt Benedetto can go, and I'll be there for every moment of it.
Meh. Matt DiBenedetto. Matt DiBenedetto. I do not like you, buddy. Just because you're an underdog doesn't mean you're that good. Honestly. And for you to have the audacity to say someone didn't like you whenever you was doing that live stream, you damn right I didn't like you, Matt DiBenedetto. And you're the reason I cannot message people on Instagram no more that's not following me. And I just do not like you for that reason, Matt DiBenedetto. Just because you reported my comment because you got real sad. No one likes you, Matt DiBenedetto, honestly. Honestly, no one does. Screw you, Matt DiBenedetto. You're way too high. You should have one fan. I'm pretty sure maybe your mom and dad maybe voted like 5 times because no one's a Matt DiBenedetto fan, really. Screw you, Matt DiBenedetto. And that's what I have to say about you.
Matt DiBenedetto is just that his career basically looked like it was going to die before it even began. But overall, I like the guy. He's respectable in the community, and he risked his own career basically to get where he is right now. And ever since then, he's had a rocket strapped to his back. He's got a lot of potential in him, and he's poised to get that 100 win for the Wood Brothers and his career. But he's got that opportunity to show some potential and great equipment at any time. He might get that one opportunity to compete for a championship, but overall, I like the guy. He's up there, but with a few exceptions where he riled me. But overall, I like the
guy. Matt DiBenedetto. I like him. He's okay. He gets emotional about second place every single time he finishes second, which is just like okay, dude. The first time you did it was one thing. The second time it shouldn't even. The second time it should piss you off. But Matt DiBenedetto, the guy was willing to take a risk on himself. I respect him for that. That could have been a career ender right there, but it wasn't. And it's actually worked for his benefit. As we now, I believe, will take a short intermission.
For Cater Johns. Please welcome, put your hands together for the sexy, the flamboyant, the great NASCAR Amino agent, Cater Johns. We're going to do a random drawing to see who wins 200 coins.
All right. So, just a little note before I get going here. If I can flip my camera around. You must be present in the chat and let the chat know you are here if you are drawn, or else we will have a redraw until we get someone that's still in the stream. So here we go. I believe we got 16 people. First up, Brandon Allen. All right. I should have folded these up. I figured it'd be cool to build the suspense. Let me figure out what the orientation is here. There we go. Pedro. Pool. TMFD. The Guy 94. Kylie.
Yes.
Got it,
Xander.
Caleb.
Pop-Tart. Gabby. I'm just folding these against my stomach. Nick.
The gayest Bowman fan. I'm the real
Scotty.
biggest Bowman fan.
For 200 Amino coins. Joey Logano, the member, not the driver.
Imagine that's actually Joey.
We're losing a race.
What if that's actually
Eric
Joey
King.
Logano? And he's only pretending to not be Joey Logano.
Bacon Thief.
Way fucking probably hates Caleb, dude.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Colin. Cannot fold
Rest
that
in
now.
peace.
Donlin.
Donlin.
Rest in peace,
win.
Tom. Please tell
And
me you're gonna,
Brian.
please tell me you're gonna say rest in peace. Donlin wins if he does, right?
Yes, you have to.
Now it's gonna be rigged.
No.
Yeah, sorry guys, we had to rig this for Donlin.
Guys, this is too small and the ones at the bottom are traps. So we're gonna...
No!
Oh no!
Oh, the big one!
He killed everyone.
And now there's a rest in
one.
peace if Donlin wins.
There really is a
All right,
rest
guys.
Ooh.
Let's do the random draw, shall we?
You should like crumple them up. That way you can't see.
Okay. We'll crumple them up.
And don't forget, after this happens, we'll be revealing the top 10 most popular drivers as voted on by the NASCAR Amino community.
Imagine if we just stopped at
Surprise
11
lined
though.
up for you. Gotta stay tuned, boys.
What'd you say?
All right, that's 5. I said maybe we have another surprise lined up. Stay tuned, boys.
Oh, yes, we do. Maybe.
You can only
Maybe
find
just
out
save
if-
the top 10. Just say you'll find out the top 10 next time on the NASCAR Amino podcast.
Oh, imagine if we did that. The podcast would.
Okay, 4 or 5.
Join next time when Tanner Campos makes pasta on camera.
I will spill over a truck filled with spaghetti.
Well, wait for Carter to do this. At the end of June, the least popular driver, as voted on by the NASCAR community, Google form will go out, and then about a month later, probably, we will be revealing who's the least popular driver on the podcast.
Fantastic. I know who's going to win that already.
How many viewers we got?
Imagine he doesn't though. Imagine it's actually like Dale Jr. or something.
If it's Dale Jr., oh my god.
Dale Jr.
I want Jared's reaction if it's Chase Elliott.
Hey guys, how much viewers do we still got?
We still
14.
have 14.
All right, that's good. Thank you guys for sticking around as we are getting ready to draw here.
We need more.
More is always great, but 14 is a pretty good turnout. There are probably 6 people that decide not to stay. That's besides the point.
After everything.
Here we go. Shake this baby up.
No, well, if they don't get picked up, then it's their own fault. If they get picked and they're not here, it's their own fault. Should have stayed around.
And also, I will not see the chat, so I need you guys to confirm after a minute or two if they are here or not. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the unconfirmed winner of the 200 coins
Is
Oh, god dang it.
That's a nice knee.
Bacon Thief. Bacon,
All
if
right.
you're here,
we need
say
you
here in the
to
chat.
make-
He's definitely here.
Yeah, he just said, come on.
Yeah.
Bacon, if you are here, you are the winner.
You'll come home with 200 amino coins.
That's pretty nerdy. Not gonna lie.
see here.
If he's not, give it to someone else.
Might need to do another shuffle.
Bacon Thief, you got 30 seconds.
Oh my god.
Someone maybe PM him on Amino.
He's here. He's here. He's here.
Okay, good.
All right. Congratulations, Bacon Thief, winner of 200 coins tonight.
Sexy.
And yeah, that was a fun little thing I decided to do for the podcast. I'll head back in the chat. There may or may not be another surprise. Stay tuned.
Oh, there's
one
one
Speaking of
surprise.
surprise, we are now joined
Yeah,
for
there we
this
go.
top 10 by Brandon
He.
fucking Allen.
He is here.
I hope this microphone's working right.
We hear you.
is.
We
Loud
got,
and clear.
Yeah.
we got him.
Brandon, you'll be going after Tanner. Tanner, you're segueing to
Will
Brandon.
do.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
Second.
guys. Congratulations to Bacon Thief as we are about to head in to the top 10. This is where it starts to get a little bit of the Brandon Allen. Say spicy. You say it better than I do.
Spicy.
Yes, there we go.
Have some spicy chicken nuggets.
I'll hook you
All
up.
right.
No.
Here we go. Come on, chat. Hype it up. Who's ready for the top 10?
We need
Y'all
the
should be
hype
ready for
meter
the top
to
10. I
rise
gotta
up.
move my pillows.
You're a
We want some
pillow.
hype. Come on, there's only one. Let's go. Come on, we want some more hype.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Come
Get
on.
the hype up in the
Let
joint.
the hype.
Let's
Come
go.
on, we gotta get
Let's
going.
go.
Oh, that's it.
2 hypes. Come on, we want some more hype. Hype house.
We
Come
got
on.
it. We're getting
Let's
hype.
go.
Okay,
There
the
we
hype's
go.
coming in. Keep
There
it
we
coming,
go.
boys.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
I'll do
Woo,
this
here we
until
go.
It gets more. Jeez.
I put the sunglasses on for y'all. That's how much I'm hyped.
Oh, gotta
I
cool
can
your
always
eyes
go get
down.
my
It's so
sexy
hot.
sunglasses too. This would be
All
sexy.
right, here we go. Number 10. This driver is probably the most controversial driver of all time. He has drove for the likes of Hendrick Motorsports and Joe Gibbs. He owns a
All right.
Truck Series team in the Truck Series. He is the 2015 and 2019 champion. Has over 200 wins across all 3 NASCAR series. He is Kyle Busch. Caleb.
All right. Kyle Thomas Busch, Rowdy himself. This is a very interesting topic. I had to get the sunglasses back off because this one's going to get interesting. As you all know, or at least as you should know, I am a Kyle Busch fan. A very dedicated Kyle Busch fan. I always have been since I've started watching, and so was my family. They've watched him grow up ever since he was a young kid racing at the bull ring. You know, he's been controversial at times. I can completely understand if you guys want to hate him in any way, but where I really draw the line is where people go and I'm not going to get too far into this, but they hate him for simply breathing. Whatever he does, you know, he can just, anytime he's on camera, anytime you see him on social media or whatever, anytime he's at the track or does or says anything, people just like to hate Kyle Busch. Bless you, Zach.
Thank you.
But, you know, he's really, I feel like, needs to be appreciated more because of what he has done for the sport. And I'm sorry if I start rambling on here, but he has done a lot for the sport in terms of being basically the main villain for the sport. I've already accepted that fact that I root for the villain, okay? And he has a voice, he has a personality, and he has always been that controversial figure in the garage, both on and off the track. But, you know, he's one of the nicest guys you'll meet off the racetrack. You know, he'll do anything for a fan. He's loyal to his fan base. He will let the haters know just what he's going to do. Then he's going to show it to you. And then he's going to rub it in your face when it's all said and done, because that's just who Kyle Busch is. He's a competitive guy, and some people don't like that. But you know what? He's going to go out there and win championships like he's always been doing. Finally got those 2 titles. I don't care what you guys think of the first one, but he's going to continue to do that for probably the next 10 years. So I'm a dedicated Kyle Busch fan. I'm sorry if you're not. But, yeah. Hate him if you want to. I don't really care. I've dealt with it all. On to Jared.
Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch, bitch. What a scumbag.
Original.
Thanks, Brandon.
Very original.
Very original. That's a new one. Haven't heard that one before.
That's incredibly
Slap
original.
the knee. That's how funny that. Cobb is talented. You can't say he's not. Yeah, he's the bad guy. I don't like him really, but he's got talent. He's the most talented driver currently in NASCAR, not named Natalie Deck or Christopher Bell, among others. I had to throw in a little bit of bias. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be me if I didn't. But really, the best driver of our generation. Yes, better than Johnson. Hot topic there, but it's true. You can't be-
Okay, Jared.
Right now he
okay.
is. Right now he is. In the
goodness.
2010s, he has been better than Johnson.
the main generation for NASCAR Amino, because most of them is barely 10 years old. But that's besides the point. But yeah, Cobbers is a very talented driver. There's not much more that can be said about him that hasn't been said. We need a villain in this sport. He is our version of Dale Sr. Hot take there, but it's true. Tanner?
KB, he was born to drive a race car since he came onto this earth. And ever since then, he's been strapped to a rocket of greatness. But at the beginning of his career, people hated him because of his immaturity and aggressive driving. But over time, he matured as a person and earned the respect by his peers. And I was proud to see him win that championship after breaking his leg, even though I was a fan of a certain driver that will be mentioned later. But he's just become that face of this generation. He was born to drive a race car, and he's going to be remembered once he retires. Even he might never get to Petty, Earnhardt, and Johnson's record, but he will.
Y'all
be
are gonna
remembered
miss him. You guys are gonna miss him.
We're definitely gonna miss him. He was that villain of this sport that we need, which is great. We will forever. His impact on the sport will forever be remembered. That's all I gotta say about Kyle Busch.
Brendan Allen.
All right, it's me. First time you get to hear from me. Fun fact: a lot of people don't know this. I actually like Kyle Busch. I found it to be pretty cool, and honestly, I mean, really, I've always just kind of liked him as just kind of a little bit of a secret driver to like, and
He's a classic Kyle Busch fan.
Yeah, more or less. I don't really have that much to say about him, apart from the fact, I've always liked him. He's definitely taken some tumbles, definitely an interesting figure to watch. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I've always liked Kyle Busch. So, I guess I'll just kind of throw this over to Zach since he has more to say than I do. So, go ahead.
I like Kyle Busch too, but anyone who says he's the best driver of the 2010s is dumb. 3 championships, Jimmy Johnson, 1 Kyle Busch. And yes, I said 1 because the 2015 one doesn't count.
How about we talk about wins?
Yeah, wins.
They're not that different from each other in wins.
Oh, Mike.
I bet you they are.
Okay, it's skewed because Jimmy didn't win the last 2 years. But
it's good.
But they're not that far off. Like, actually.
Jimmy was the driver of the 2000s. Kyle Busch is the driver of the 2010s.
Yeah, and he won 1 real championship. Anyway, that's not the point of this. We're not here to debate whether or not Kyle was better than Jimmy in the 2010s. He wasn't. But it's but he's a great driver. He's a talent. He'll probably be the best driver of the 2020s. He could win another, I'd say, 2 or 3 championships. But yeah, number 9.
Number 8.
Oh shit! Sorry, I was kidding.
Language, J-Rod.
Okay, number 9. Let me tell you. Come on, this guy needs a great introduction because he is our Lord and Savior after all. This driver is the definition of godlike. I bet you he probably has superpowers. Is how great this driver is. He is the best driver to ever drive for JGR. He is the best driver to ever drive for Stuart Haas. He is the league GOAT. Him and another driver, but we don't get to that yet. He is my savior, my lord. I just want to say thank you, Tony, for everything you do for us. Get the fucking baseball bat, amen. Tony Stewart, baby. Let's go. Number 9.
It's about time we talk about Smoke. Who doesn't love Tony Stewart? I mean, he ruffles drivers' feathers sometimes, but that's just how he is. He's really like, besides Kyle Busch, that really the last great bad boy of the sport. He really didn't care what anybody thought. He would just go out there and say it. He's had some of the greatest personality of any driver we have ever seen in NASCAR. He's such a hilarious guy, and he's had some of the greatest interviews we will ever see in the sport.
Please don't steal it. Please don't steal my segue.
Okay, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say Tony Stewart's great. He's hilarious, very talented driver. I'm going to leave everything to Jared. On to you.
Oh, Tony, I love you, man. My favorite moment of Tony, 2013 Auto Club.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Steve Burns was Tony Stewart. What do you think I'm mad at? Fuck, I forgot it.
What the hell?
I would say it right now.
What the hell do you
put it in the
think
chat.
I'm angry about, or something like that? Yeah, put it in the chat for me to read. I forget the first part. But anyways, Tony Stewart, amazing driver, an amazing person to meet, really friendly. I met him 2014 Bristol, maybe Martinsville. I can't remember. One of the 2 tracks. And I always was a Tony fan as a child. Didn't care for him the first 2 years I started watching NASCAR, but then just the bright orange car. I go back to the bright paint schemes. But
Dang it.
Tony's just awesome. I love Tony so much. Awesome for the sport. Cannot wait to see him kick ass at the Indy Road course. Oh my God, I'm so excited to see Tony back in a race car. Oh, it's going to be so awesome. But before we turn on to Brandon, let me tell you my favorite Tony Stewart moment. Auto Club 2013.
I'm not done with it.
Steve Burns. I know the rest of it. Steve Burns was with him. He said, "The hell do you think I was mad about? Dumb little son of a bitch sent us clear down the infield. He wants to talk shit about everyone else. I'll bust his ass."
I'll put the full thing.
That's the greatest Tony Stewart moment of all time. Tanner?
Tony Stewart, he's one word, badass. He was that from the start, the way he came into the sport, and ever since then, he's been a badass since he retired. But overall, Tony Stewart has had a legendary career that is worthy of a Hall of Fame. Very deserving. He's provided moments that will forever be remembered, no matter what. But overall, Tony Stewart he's respected in my heart. Easily in my top 5 all-time favorite drivers that are retired. But one moment that I always loved about Tony Stewart was, like Jared, the 2013 Auto Club, but the 2016, his final win was very special, very cool for him to win that race after so many years of all that rough stuff that happened in his life. And it was great for him to finally go out on top with something happy after having years of frustration. But Tony Stewart, in my eyes, will be a GOAT of this sport.
Lee Brandon.
Well, I was about to say, man, Tony goddamn Stewart. Jesus Christ. There's a lot to say. Honestly, I've always liked Tony Stewart. Oh my God, Dad absolutely adored Tony Stewart. I mean, because of that, it rubbed off on me quite a bit, like a lot. Like, you don't even know how much it rubbed off on me. Really, Tony Stewart is honestly just probably one of the most. I mean, if someone were to ask about NASCAR and all that stuff, who's a cool driver? Dale Earnhardt, Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart's going to be in that list, like automatically. He's going to be up there. It's just Tony Stewart's great. I love him. It's been cool. So yeah. Now on to Zach. Yeah, you do that now.
Please bow your fucking heads. By the way, if joking about religion is something that you have a distaste for, please stop watching. But I'm sure none of you have any particular problems, so let us pray. Dear Tony, you are just such an amazing spiritual human being. Tony, you give us warm kisses on soft warm kisses on the forehead. You give us you have let's not make that joke. We pray for you to make the rest of this podcast absolutely amazing, and we pray that you will one day finally beat the shit out of Joey Logano. In Tony's name, we pray.
Yes.
Get the fucking baseball bats. Amen.
Lift
Everybody
us up,
said
Tony.
amen.
Just want to say thank you, Tony, for giving up everybody. Just lift us up. Get on. Okay, let's kind of preach it.
On to the next number.
Okay, number 8. This driver has drove for Jack Roush and JGR. The third, yes, I said third best driver to never win a championship. He got his career, he just retired out of all of a sudden and disappeared. Carl Edwards, number 8.
Carl Edwards, man, what a guy. What else can really be said about Carl Edwards? He was an amazing driver, amazing person, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Had some of the best sportsmanship out of any driver in the garage. That was especially shown during what happened to unfortunately be his final race. In a situation where I would have absolutely just gone and tried to kill Joey Logano's entire pit crew, but he went and congratulated them and told them to go on, continue, and keep going to try to get that championship. And he's surely someone who was underappreciated. It really sucks that he just kind of disappeared. We've heard about him a few times ever since his retirement, but really it was just overall the frustration of getting that close to a championship and just never being able to get there. He's probably the third best driver to never win a championship, and unfortunately he just never will win a championship. That was the last that we ever saw of him. But he was a great talent, great driver. Had a few run-ins with guys I liked, like Kyle Busch, the infamous rivalry that he had with Keselowski that ended with both of them literally flipping each other over. But he was just a really awesome driver. If he was still driving today, he would definitely be probably my third, fourth favorite driver. Just absolutely love the guy, and I'm still sad that he's gone and salty he didn't win that championship in 2016.
Oh, Carl Edwards. Every one of his Roush paint schemes was beautiful. The Affleck car, the UPS car, the Subway car. Edwards has had some of the best paint schemes in NASCAR history. You can't say I'm wrong, because obviously if you say I'm wrong, you're wrong. But anyway, Edwards is my sixth favorite driver of all time. I really enjoyed the way he raced. Especially loved it in 2011 with him and Tony real close, two of my favorite drivers. Battling for a championship and tying was just such amazing to see. And then to see him to go to JGR and not do much, really, honestly, and then end his career on a rough note really hurt, to be honest. I really hope Carl comes back for at least one more race so we can give him a proper send-off as fans. But yeah, Tanner.
You can't really hate Carl. I always respected him as a driver. He was in my top 10 when he was around, but it's a shame that he never got that championship or a big win in major races. But overall, Carl is that guy you can't hate on. But it's a true shame that his career ended in a crash that we never know that was going to be his last race. I hope he does come back someday, but I just don't know about it yet. I just really hope he can find some little heart to come back someday. But overall, Carl's very appreciated in my eyes and in the NASCAR community.
Yeah, Carl Edwards. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Carl Edwards. He always. I mean, there was, again, as Caleb mentioned, the absolutely infamous thing with Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski, which was always interesting to watch. In fact, just earlier today, I ended up watching a airborne crash compilation, and I saw him go into a catch fence. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean Edwards was always, as Caleb really said, more or less. I'm just kind of spouting out what Caleb said again, but really he was always just one of the greatest guys in the garage, and I really wish that he wouldn't have retired, because I know he was kind of fizzling out a bit, but I'm sure he could have made some good runs again, and I really just kind of wanted to see him, get that win or get a championship. That would have made me big happy, I gotta say. Big happy. Anyways, on to Zach.
Hey Tanner, you say you can't hate Carl Edwards?
What about Carl Edwards?
You said you can't hate him?
I can't hate him.
Watch me.
Go ahead.
Oh God.
I lost a lot of
open.
respect for Carl Edwards when he just dipped out of nowhere. Like, what even was the? I don't understand why a guy would do that. I think he was locked in for 2017, for that contract. He was coming off a Championship 4 appearance in which he almost won the championship. He was a very well-respected guy in the garage. Everyone wanted him to stick around, and he's just like, you know what? Nope. Screw all of this. I'm out.
He might have been influenced by Eris.
Or it might just... Eris and Joe
it was
Gibbs
all
kind of
Carl.
don't know.
They might have kind of peer pressured him out of there slightly.
No, Carl was always a private person. I felt like he kind of felt like it was time for him to walk away.
But just move on. 11 o'clock. Keep it down. I'm gonna kill you. I love you. Love you. All right. I'm just parked in my room. But I lost a lot of respect for Carl Edwards when he did that. Something just doesn't sit right about that with me. About that particular moment. And I've got nothing else against him. It's just that particular moment just doesn't sit right. Jared?
Jared, we can't hear you.
Hey, hello.
Yeah, we hear you now.
Yeah, now we got you.
All right, number 7. I'm not going to be able to use the face cam no more, unfortunately.
Big rip.
But number 7 is a 7-time champion, 75 wins?
76, I would think.
76.
Dale Earnhardt Sr. Caleb?
This is kind of, bless you. This
Thank
is
you.
another one in which, it was more fairly recently, to be fair, but I feel like most people kind of weren't really around to see him race, that at least are on the Amino. But, I can kind of see the appeal with Dale Sr. His aggressive driving style, his out there personality that we don't see too much of nowadays, and his competitive nature, just the way that he raced people, the way that he, intimidated people, and the iconic black paint scheme that he ran the second half of his career. I mean, what else can you say that hasn't been said about the guy? Toward the end of his career, he kind of was a gateway for guys like Jeff Gordon, young guys coming in, learn from some of these older guys in the sport, as we saw rivalries like that. He ruffled people's feathers, like Terry Labonte at Bristol, Rusty Wallace, just run-ins with guys. If you raced against him, you probably had a run-in with Dale Sr. at some point in your career. But really, that's all I can say. I mean, there are probably a few people on the Amino who were around to see him race, but I don't personally know of them.
Yeah, I don't know much about Dale Sr. either, really. He seems like a driver that in today's NASCAR fan base would hate. So I really don't understand why he's this high. He reminds me a lot of how Kyle Busch races.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dale Sr.'s a legend. Sucks that we lost him in a tragic way like we did at the 2001 Daytona 500. I've never really watched any old races with him in it besides like the 1994 Coke 600 and a couple other Gordon wins. But yeah, other than that, never really seen Dale Senior say much on him. Tanner?
Dale Earnhardt, he was kind of the black hat like Kyle Busch is right now, but Dale Earnhardt was just that guy who always was meant to rattle someone's cage. He had to ruffle a few feathers to get to where he is, where he got 76 wins and those 7 championships. But it is truly a shame that he left this world far too early. But his impact on the sport is still felt to this day, and his driving style has inspired so many after his passing. His impact on the sport will forever be known in our eyes and for the rest of the NASCAR community.
Tanner, you might want to fix your mic up. We barely heard you.
Shoot. Be right back.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, really, yeah. Dale Earnhardt Sr. He's absolute legend. I've always liked watching him. I mean, because I've watched a good few races that he's been in, things like that. I've watched a lot of those races and all that stuff. A lot of the times, Dad would like pop in a recorded race or something, and we'd watch that or something. But because I've seen a good amount of it, but yeah, honestly, he's legendary and all that stuff. And you either like him or you don't like him. But I mean, really, you can't really say he hasn't made an impact because he's made an absolutely large ass impact on this sport. And I mean, really, there isn't that much for me to say because usually by the time it gets to me, everything's been covered. But yeah, yeah. So on to Zach.
Also not the greatest driver of all time, but Dale Senior, he's absolutely legendary. I mean, there's so many stories that people tell about him. It's hard not to like him. He's just that great, great of a personality, and and even now, I feel like his presence in the sport is still felt in a really big way.
All right. We're going to move on to number 6. And what an upset number 6 is. He has drove for the Wood Brothers. He has drove for Team Penske. Not sure if he's drove for anything else in the Cup Series. But the job of the number 12, Ryan Blaney, number 6.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked he was ahead of guys like Kyle Busch, like Joey Logano and Keselowski, but all right. Blaney's an interesting case. I thought he would have been more successful up to this point, but only 3 Cup wins, 2 of them basically out of nowhere. In some ways, I feel like he might have just been better off at the Wood Brothers. It felt like he was more of an obvious priority over there than he is at Penske currently, but he's been trying to fully come into himself this year, hasn't really been able to. But he just feels like the third wheel. That's all he's felt like since he's gotten to Team Penske. And again, I haven't felt like he's gotten a win on pure speed since he's gotten there. Like, I don't want to say that his wins are undeserving, but he hasn't had the best car in either of his race wins. He's kind of just came out of nowhere at the right time to do it. And I got to admit, I'm kind of disappointed with him because he hasn't been championship caliber like he should have been the past 2 years. And he obviously had what happened earlier today, which, just a simple accident, just got loose, couldn't control the car. But again, there's just several instances over the past 2 years, 2-3 years now with Team Penske in which he should be winning races during the season, not just one fluke toward the end. And I don't know, maybe at some point he'll finally become that driver we were hoping he could have been. I'm not too much of a Blaney fan myself, but I guess he has a pretty loyal fan base considering his spot on this list.
Wow, Ryan Blaney having this strong of a fan base to put him over people like Dale Sr., Kyle Busch, Tony Stewart. That's insane. He actually had, here's a little behind the scenes thing. He had 13 votes compared to Tony Stewart and Kyle Busch having 9.
Wow.
That's insane.
Insane is an understatement.
Highway robbery.
I would have never thought Ryan Blaney would be this high, honestly. He's an okay driver. He should be better than what he is, though. He has a lot of talent, I can tell. Just gets caught up in stupid stuff, unfortunately. But yeah, Ryan Blaney, number 6, Tanner.
It's kind of a shocker this high, but Ryan Blaney's just
Your mic is even worse this time, Tanner.
It's your mic's completely dead, Tanner.
My side.
Tanner, we can't hear you at all.
You can't hear.
Do you just want to go to me then? I mean, since he's now gone, then I'm going to assume so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one, I only got here at number 10, so I have no clue all of the people that have been on this list so far, but wow. I did not know that we had that much of a fan base for that guy. I mean, I understand that he's, he has a good amount of personality and all that stuff, but the fact that he got more votes than Stewart and even Dale Sr., that's just kind of, I don't really have much to say on him because I've never really had an opinion on him. I've just been kind of in the middle on him. He's one of those drivers I just don't really know about. So, on to Zach.
Unfortunately, it's going to be a few minutes for Tanner. As for Ryan Blaney, why? Just why? I don't even have anything against Ryan Blaney, but if I had taken a wild guess before this, I wouldn't have even put Blaney in the top 30. And if I did, I would have put him like 30th. 6th. What has he done to deserve it? The dude has been spoon-fed. He's almost as bad as the Dillon brothers in terms of getting spoon-fed everything. He's never run a full season in Xfinity. He's never run a full season in trucks, I don't think. Ryan Blaney has just been super hyped right from the get-go, and I don't know why. Like, I don't understand where he gets all this hype from, and I was wrong. He's actually run 2 full truck seasons, both of which he only had a single win, and he's never won more than 2 Xfinity races at once. And for him to have, in one season, and for him to have this many fans, when he's done next to nothing to earn his spot in NASCAR, it's just mind-blowing to me that he gets this much hype. He doesn't deserve it. He really doesn't deserve it at all. And he never lives up to expectations. He's never straight up dominated a race. I just don't understand this. He's done nothing to earn either his spot in the Cup Series or this number 6. I'm done.
Yeah, definitely a big shocker there. But now we're going to go on to number 5. This driver is the only driver to win the Rookie of the Year in all 3 series. I may be wrong on that, but I'm like 97.8% positive that's true. He's a Xfinity Series champion. He is the driver of the number 24 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, William Byron, number 5.
Man, I hope Tanner's able to get back for this one. That would be very tragic if he wasn't. Um, William Byron. 2 years ago, I probably would have said that I was very disappointed with how he was doing in the Cup Series, not being able to get a Hendrick Motorsports car that won the year before to a top 20 points finish. But he's starting to fully become, not fully, but he's been slowly but surely becoming that driver in the Cup Series, that we've seen down in Xfinity, that we've seen down in the Truck Series. And it's only a matter of time before he actually gets the victory. I can see why he's gotten the fan base he has to an extent. I mean, the main reason being the fact that he is driving the Fame 24 car. He doesn't have like the most personality, but he is very relatable to a good amount of people, still being a college student up to this point. And that's really the craziest thing about him. His career started on a computer. He's still in college. His college sponsors him. And in no time, he will be a Cup Series winner.
Hello.
Yeah.
I didn't know if my mic screwed up. William Byron, pretty good driver. Liked him in trucks, liked him in Xfinity, and liked him in Cup. He's my fourth favorite driver in the Cup Series right now. But I just don't think he's shown too much in the Cup Series, unfortunately. As much as I hate to say it, Byron has shown nothing in the Cup Series so far. But I think he will regroup. He's still young. He's barely even 21 at the moment. That's insane. And I think he'll regroup, and I think he'll mold into a good driver. I think he'll take about the time Chase Elliott did. Chase Elliott, fifth year in the Cup Series? And yeah. Chase Elliott's molded into a good driver. I think Byron will do the same eventually. He's just the fourth driver at Hendrick right now. Elliott's first, then Bowman, then Johnson, then Byron, I do believe. But yeah, Byron will eventually we'll tap that talent potential that he has. It'll just take him some time. Tanner, thoughts on William Byron being number 4?
Can y'all hear me?
Number 5, number 5.
Yeah, that's real good, Tanner. That's good quality.
Number 5, William Byron. Tanner, what's your thoughts on it?
Willie B. He's my current favorite right now. His career, y'all know the meme already. But overall, William has potential in his career. He just hasn't had that opportunity to break out. He's got a great team assembled around him at the moment, with Checkenhouse leading him. But he's got a bright future ahead of him. I believe in him as a Byron fan myself. He's got to still learn how to get through the growing pains of this sport. And today he showed a little bit of it. But overall, he's got a bright future ahead of him, no matter how up and down his career will get.
Brandon?
Well, William Byron, to me, I mean, I don't have much of an opinion on William. Again, it's one of those drivers, a lot like Ryan Blaney. I mean, I haven't really seen him have that much personality. I mean, I know he's relatable. That's pretty clear that he is relatable to a good extent, but at the exact same time, I mean, he's been at Hendrick for a long time, and he hasn't even won. He's just kind of been there. I mean, yeah, he's definitely shown some speed. I mean, for instance, at Darlington, he had a good amount of speed, but then, the whole tire incident I mean, he's fine and all that stuff, but I'm definitely not shocked to see him this high up on the list after him driving the 24 and, him being as relatable as he is. But, I thought maybe someone else would be here. So, all right, on to you, Zach.
William Byron, I'm not as upset as being above Alex Bowman, because William Byron is an absolute rocket ship in the lower series. When he first burst onto the scene, he just won everything. So I'm sure a lot of people were expecting that when he got to the Cup Series, he would be an immediate title contender because he was everywhere else he went. But unfortunately, that hasn't panned out for him. He's having a lot of issues trying to adjust a cup. But I mean, he's okay. I think he'll wind up being a fairly solid driver. He'll win at least 15 races in his career. I won't put him up in the possible 30 win category. I think he could probably get a 50. He has potential to be a 50 win driver, but I'm not going to put him up there yet because he hasn't really done anything to prove that. The most top 10s he's had in the season so far is 13. So he has a lot. He has a long way to go in his career, and I think he will get there. He will eventually deserve this spot.
Sorry, sir.
Now done.
All right, number 4. This driver comes from a famous father. He is an Xfinity Series champion, and he is NASCAR's most popular driver, one of the most hard-working drivers in the field today, Chase Elliott. Number 4, Chase Elliott.
All right.
Nice misdirection. Everyone think it was Dale Jr.
So, despite the fact that I am a Kyle Busch fan, I'm not going to hate on Chase Elliott. I don't hate Chase Elliott. I like Chase Elliott. I didn't agree with kind of the driving style he had earlier today in a few facets, but that's a story for another time, topic for another time. Chase Elliott, he was good in the lower series, and I'm not hating on him, but I don't feel like he's just yet hit that full championship potential that he can. He's coming real close this season. I think he's on his way. I feel like this is the year, but we'll see it later on in the year when he usually does start winning races, on the normal. It took a while to kind of come into himself. Ever since he's gotten to the series, he's kind of had that large fan base around him. He's had leftover Dale Jr. fans, leftover Jeff Gordon fans, some Chase Elliott fans even Chase Elliott fans who decided to go back to the 24. Or no, decided to, what I'm trying to say. I'm kind of trailing off here, but Chase Elliott, he obviously has that massive fan base around him. I'm actually kind of shocked to see him here at number 4. If anything, just seeing how large his fan base is at this point. But, he definitely is one of the most talented drivers in the series. He will hit that championship potential soon enough. He does know how to win multiple races in a season. And, he's definitely a future champion.
To peel the curtain back and go behind the scenes, Chase Elliott only had 2 more votes than both William Byron and Ryan Blaney. He only had 15. Byron and Blaney had 13. Which was an absolute shocker to me. I figured he would be number 1, to be honest, but he wasn't. He's 4th. But anyways, to my thoughts on Chase Elliott. I love Chase Elliott so much. He's my second favorite driver right now in the Cup Series, behind Bill. And he has really molded into a great driver this year. He has been battling for the win 4 races in a row. He could have really legitimately won 4 races in a row, to be honest. If Kyle Busch didn't take him out at the first Darlington race, he would have won. He could have won the Coke 600 if he didn't pit. He did win the Oscar 300, and if he didn't race too hard with Joey Logano, he probably would have won Bristol today. Just an amazing driver. People hate on him just because he's a popular driver and they want to be cool. But other than that, Chase is probably the best driver of 2020. Hot take. And, I'm going to see how the future goes for Chase Elliott. I think he's going to have a bright future. I think he's going to be better than another driver that we're going to talk about, another popular driver that was in NASCAR a few years back. But, yeah, Chase Elliott has a lot of potential to do great things. I think he could win multiple championships and have 50, 60, 70 wins in his career. Brandon? No, Tanner?
Chase Elliott. He was born into the sport, and he's got a lot of potential in his career. He's got a few championships coming his way, but he just needs to break needs to learn how to get to that championship caliber performances, which he's on his way doing this year. But overall, Chase Elliott, he's got a bright future ahead. His fans love him, like Caleb said. Most of them are from Junior and Gordon. And overall, Chase Elliott, he has a bright future ahead of him. He might become a legend of this sport, like how his dad was. But only time will tell how that will go.
Well, for me, I just, I mean, yeah, I like him and all that stuff. He's perfectly fine, but he's definitely not really in my top 10 or favorite drivers. I mean, he's definitely top 15, but I like a lot more people than I like him and all that stuff. But I mean, yeah, I'm definitely not going to say he's a bad driver and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, he does have his moments, but at the exact same time, he has a lot of great moments in the sport, and he's, well, most likely, well, not most likely, the most popular driver at this point. So, I mean, yeah, really doesn't really surprise me to see him this high and all that stuff. Honestly, I kind of thought he would be higher, well, lower on the list. What am I talking about? Or he'd be top 3, but I mean, then again, he is just barely outside of top 3, so it doesn't really surprise me as much. So, yeah, on to Zach.
Chase Elliott is I like Chase Elliott. I do root for him to win. I thought he would be a bit high. I thought he would be higher too, not much higher, but I thought he would be higher. I don't understand how Ryan Blaney has anywhere near as many votes as him. Yeah.
All right, in third place with 26 votes. We're going to start revealing the vote counters now. Getting the bronze medal for the NASCAR Amino most popular driver. This driver has won 83 races, 7 championships. The driver of the 2000s, washed up has-been himself, Jimmie Johnson.
Oh, you're gonna make. I'm just waiting for what Zach's gonna say now. Let's see. Jimmie Johnson, probably the greatest driver of our generation, greatest of the 2000s, arguably the greatest of all time. The man can win races, and even if he hasn't really shown it nowadays, it's really just age catching up to him. Because ever since he got into the Cup Series, he knew how to win races, and that's all he did. And he went out there, and he won 5 straight championships in 3 different systems. Unbelievable. 5 straight. And it's just crazy to see. And then all those different types of race cars that there have been, he's just won in everything. Anything obstacle that's been thrown at him in the past, Jimmie Johnson has won. It didn't really seem like it when he was down in the Busch Series. It seemed like he was just going to be another one of those busts. But he burst onto the scene, and he didn't look back. And even if Jimmie Johnson never wins again, he is no doubt a Hall of Fame driver. People will always remember him, and he has a big, loyal fan base behind him. Much respect to the 7-time champion.
Jimmie Johnson. I never did like you, really, honestly. He's just there. As a kid, never was a big Jimmy fan, to be honest. I think he's another one of them Harvick-type boring drivers, to be honest. Has little to no personality. Pretty stale, to be honest. Don't understand why he has that big of a fan base, for sure, just like Harvick. And, yeah, Jimmy just... It's time to go to a retirement home. Cut your farewell season short. Head to the showers. Head to fucking Oak Grove fucking retirement home up here in Fort Cape, West Virginia, and go ahead and leave. No one asks for you to be... You're like the old man. You're like the... Jimmy, you're like the... You should have retired 2 years ago. This hurts... You being as bad as you are now hurt your legacy, Jimmy. Just go up before you don't even... Just leave before you don't even belong in the Hall of Fame. Tanner?
Jimmy, he's one of my second all-time favorite drivers of all time. His career at first looked like it was going to be a failure until a certain someone saved him. And ever since then, he's been a walking dynasty. He won 5 consecutive championships under so many systems of the playoffs, which is unbelievable by any standard, and went on to win 2 more in his career. But since then, he's just fallen off. And his time might come at the end of the year anyway, but I just want to see him get that one final win before he goes. Or maybe he can possibly break that tie with Dale Earnhardt and Richard Petty, but he will for always have a place in my heart as one of my all-time favorite drivers, which I spent 2 seasons as. But overall, his legacy on the sport will forever be remembered no matter what.
Well, yeah, Jimmy Johnson. He's Jimmy Johnson. He's always. I mean, even if he's not been winning, I mean, he's always been there. He's always been, the story. I mean, the past couple of years, he's always been the story of will he get another win, things like that. I mean, hey, it's always cool to see Jim Jam trying to go out there and win races and all that stuff. And I mean, hey, he's been pretty quick for a while. I mean, he got third at Bristol, but then again, he probably would have got a little bit lower if it wasn't for the whole Elliott Logano thing. But I mean, hey, that's still pretty good, especially for Bristol. I mean, there was a good amount of wrecks there, things like that. So really just, yeah, Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion. I mean, as it's been said before, he won 5 in a row. I've always liked him. Never really been in my top 10 or top 15, but he's been there. Yeah. So on to Zach.
Go ahead, Zach.
Petty don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Oh my God.
And
Whoa.
this took a turn for the strange.
Fuck Jimmy Johnson.
Hey Zach,
Oh,
Zach,
now we got
Zach,
oh,
you're on.
God.
Zach, you're on mute on stream, buddy. Unmute yourself.
That's retarded. Anyway, Jimmy Johnson is the greatest driver of all time, as I said. That was pretty dumb, but I'm riled up right now. He is better than Jeff Gordon. He is better than Dale Earnhardt. He is better than Richard Petty. He's better than David Pearson.
Most of them, yes, but not one.
And, like, do you realize that every single time he won a championship, they changed the format, trying to stop him from winning another championship, and he kept winning them. 2006 when he wins the championship, they immediately changed the seeding system to stop him from winning 2007. He wins that anyway. He wins 2008. He wins 2009. They changed 2010. He still wins. They changed 2011. He wins it in 2013. They immediately change it again in 2014. He wins it in 2016. The only format that he hasn't yet won in is the current one, and that's because of a Pocono wreck that's really kind of derailed his career. Kind of like Casey Kane, and he is better than all of these guys because unlike all of these other guys, Jimmy Johnson has not had the system actively. None of the other guys have had the system actively fight them as much as Jimmy has, and he still has 7 championships. That's how good he is. Oh, Jeff Gordon! He should have won 7 championships. Oh, Jeff Gordon's the greatest of all. No, he choked 4 championships. Hell, if I went back to the 90s, he probably choked a bunch of championships there, too. Like, no. It's Jimmy. I'm done.
Well, I'm glad we can segue into choking because this next driver, number 2,
Oh boy.
the most overrated driver of all time. This driver is only popular for one reason, and that's his overrated father. I guess overrated, like father, like son, they say. Both overrated drivers. Not a very good driver. Don't understand why he's very popular. Didn't do nothing most of his career. Only got 26 wins, but yet people say he's the greatest driver of all time. He is not good whatsoever. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is number 2.
Junebug. All right.
Fuck you,
Very
Jared.
interesting. Oh, okay then. That just got thrown into the podcast.
Dang.
Anyways, I don't think 26 wins. I don't see why that makes somebody not good. I think 26 wins and 2 Xfinity championships. I honestly think that's Hall of Fame worthy. Not only that, Jared, but and to all the Dale Jr. haters out there, I'm not a Dale Jr. fan myself, but you can't hate the guy, even when you don't look at his. I don't care, Jared. Even when you look at what he's done off the racetrack, for NASCAR, being probably one of, had one of the greatest impacts on the sport we've seen, both on the racetrack and off the racetrack, and even in emotional ways. Many races, like the 2001 Coke 0400 or the 2004 and 2014 Daytona 500s, have had fans on the edge of their seats. And he has an amazing personality. That's why he was the fan favorite, because he was a fun guy. And one reason I don't understand why Chase Elliott is, but that's a story for another time. And yes, his dad may have been one of the reasons, and he may not have lived up to the 7 championships and the 76 wins that his father did. But 26 wins isn't nothing. That's still a very successful career. And now he's building a very successful Xfinity Series program that has saw many of his drivers go up to Cup and start winning races, including the fan favorite of our sport right now. He's definitely...
And 2 of Jared's
in the Hall
favorite
of Fame.
drivers, just want to point that out.
Oh yeah. There wouldn't be a Brad Keselowski, wouldn't be a Chase Elliott. And guys like Justin Allgaier who have gone down there and been able to find success. Elliott Sabo's career, who was rebuilt by going down there. William Byron got a spot there and won a championship. Tyler Reddick. The list goes on and on. And I don't see why people can hate the guy.
Well, I guess that's a good segue on why I hate him. Garbage.
Please tell us why.
Straight garbage.
Uh-huh.
I just don't understand how anyone can like him. Like, what has he done his entire career? Nothing. Nothing.
Only win 26 races, won a bunch of most popular drivers.
Most popular driver don't mean shit.
Has built the careers of many of our young talents today.
Oh, well, I could build up great drivers if I wanted to. It's that easy.
Oh, I want to see you try.
Oh, I bet. If any of you are here want to be in NASCAR, hit me up. I'll get you in NASCAR.
Oh, you already
anyways,
failed.
Dale Jr. was another one of my least favorites of all time. Is my least favorite driver of all time. Just do not like him. I find him very boring. He does nothing for the sport. Absolutely no impact on the sport.
Oh, really? Okay.
He is not deserving of a Hall of Fame. He's not even deserving to be a team owner. He's a disgrace to America. He's garbage. Yeah, number 2, dumpster fire garbage, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Oh, I can't wait for Zach. You don't even know.
Little E. He's okay in the sport. He's respected by his peers. People always wanted to They always wanted to push him to be better than his father. He might have never done that, but you can't throw disrespect on him. He's done some noteworthy things in his driving career, winning 2 Xfinity Series titles and 2 Daytona 500s are Hall of Fame worthy. But it just people the love he's has an impact on the sport that will be felt for many years to come. He's in broadcasting. He's owning a team. He shows that he cares. He wants to bring the sport back into a not irrelevant, relevancy, and it shows how much he cares about it. He's probably going to make the Hall of Fame because of his impact on this sport and possibly his fans. But overall, Junior has had an up and down relationship with me. But overall, I respect him as a person and a driver.
If Dale Jr. gets in the Hall of Fame, Danica Patrick should be in the Hall of Fame. They're on the same fucking caliber.
What?
Where they?
Yep.
Danica's best finish was freaking 4th.
Yeah, but she was not. Dale Jr.'s not.
No, she's not.
You just skipped me. There is no point in having me in this. I just want to hear what Zach says. So Zach, go ahead.
Go ahead, Zach.
Jared, you absolute dumb. I'm not going to say that word. Dale Jr. is on the same level as Danica Patrick?
Yes, it's 100% true. It's not an opinion, it is a fact of life.
Okay, let's dissect all of your idiocies one by one. He's boring. Have you ever listened to a single Dale Jr. interview? Even his accent is hilarious. Number 2, he's done nothing. I can think of a couple of things. He won the race, the first race after 9/11. He won the first race since Dale Earnhardt race at Daytona after Dale Earnhardt. He won 4 straight Talladega races, still a record.
Yeah, but I beat that on Heat 4 before. So.
Two Daytona 500s. No one cares about Heat 4. It's a garbage game. He two Xfinity titles, which is more than Christopher Bell can say.
Bell has 2 underneath the Jared Holmes format, but go on.
He is. There is just. How can you say he's done nothing? Like, okay,
because it's garbage.
Your opinion is garbage. Your brain is garbage. It obviously doesn't even exist. It's a myth constructed by you to make you think you're not dumb.
Temper's flaring in the NA podcast.
Bye on pit road.
Between Zach Stern and Jared Holmes.
Oh,
Dale Jr. is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Without a doubt. Just by driving alone, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. 2 Xfinity titles, 2 Daytona 500s. So many memorable moments have come out of Dale Jr. in the Cup Series. So many. He should have been the 2015 champion. He could have won the 2016 championship if he wasn't derailed by a concussion.
Don't get a concussion.
Okay, you get in that car and get in all the wrecks he got and don't get a concussion.
Jared, if he wouldn't have had the concussion issues, he might still be driving today, and he would definitely have more than 26 wins. He might even have a championship.
If a NASCAR team put me in a race car today, doesn't matter if it's Rick Rowe, Hendrick Motorsports, or anything, I would park it in victory lane at the end of the race.
Because you're Jared Holmes, ain't you?
Yeah, I would absolutely destroy the competition. Is there a spot? If say I raced at Bristol today, I would. Everyone second on back would be 499 laps down. That's how great of a driver I could be.
Dang, that would be Ryan Snell speed.
He's given so many and Dale Jr. has 52 Cup wins 50 National Series wins in total. Like we want to talk about, is Kyle Busch comparable to Richard Petty because he has 200 National Series wins. Dale Jr. has 50. That's pretty damn good. And let's talk about who he's brought into the sport. Let's see here.
Brad Keselowski, William Byron, Chase Elliott.
Let me speak,
driver.
Caleb. I'm trying to rub it in Jared's
know.
face.
He also brought Danica Patrick in the sport, so that hurts him a
Oh
lot.
my.
Well, Danica brought herself into the sport.
Danica was getting that right at SHR no matter what. Whether or not Junior had
rod, which is garbage.
Dale Jr. Dale
And he has
Jr.
you.
gave us.
Dale Jr. has you in the one car this year. Michael Annette.
Michael Annette's
Why
never going
did
to
she
Cup.
win this year?
That's I don't know what you're talking about. And Michael Annette has been better since he went to JRM, by the way. Just saying.
You are in the one car.
Shut up.
Stern.
Shut
Stern
up.
is Michael Annette.
Shut up. He's brought in Brad Keselowski. Have you heard of that guy? I think you actually like him. He's brought in Chase Elliott. I think you like that guy too. He's brought in William Byron. He's brought in Cole Custer.
Fuck Cole Custer.
Cole Custer's a beast.
No.
He's brought in so many goddamn good drivers and champions. Truex.
And Danica Patrick.
He gave us one guy that hasn't won a cup. He gave us a marketing machine that didn't win a cup race. He's also given us 2 champions. 2.
He was also one of the ways Hamlin was able to get his ride with
as
JGR.
in the number that describes you. Because you're shit. All right, let's go to number 1.
Number one, are you all ready? Get some hype in the chat for number 1, boys.
Let's go.
Give it up for number 1.
Come on, hype for number 1.
Zach, you're about to roast Jared again because I know what he's gonna say when it's his turn. I know exactly what he's gonna say.
If he pisses, I'm trying not to say it, but if he pisses me off enough, I will.
This can go bad very quickly.
Okay, number 1. He is the greatest driver to ever step foot in the race.
Here we go. It's already starting.
He is the GOAT. He is the champion. He won 24 Cup Series champions under under the Jared Holmes format. Which, speaking of the Jared Holmes format, make sure you stay for Jared's thoughts. It's going to be a good one. But anyways, the number 1 driver. He's number 1 in our hearts. He's number 24 in the track. But he's the fucking best driver of all time. Jeffrey Gordon.
I thought you were going to say Jeffrey Earnhardt. I was so concerned.
Jeffrey Earnhardt.
Anyways,
what is
Jeff Gordon, the 93-time Cup Series winner, the 4-time champion. What else can you say about the guy who's apparently NASCAR Amino's most popular driver? Very talented and not the greatest of all time, but he is one of the greatest of all time. He is one of the greatest of all time. There is no doubt in my mind that is the case. And was able to make the number 24 legendary. It will always be a legendary number because of him and the legacy he brought in. Probably the most iconic paint scheme of all time, the Rainbow Warrior, was something that he ran when winning a bunch of those championships. He had it all. He had the Rainbow Warrior car, he had the Flames, he had the Pepsi, he had some of the greatest paint schemes you'll ever see, and he is one of the most talented drivers that we have and will ever see in NASCAR. Everything has been said about Jeff Gordon that can be said. I'm just going to move on to whatever the heck Jared is going to put into our ears.
Jeff Gordon, the greatest driver in all space and time, the greatest driver to ever walk on planet Earth. Hell, if they put Jeff Gordon in space, he'd be the best driver up there. Put him in Wisconsin, he's the best driver. Put him in Mexico, he's the best driver. Put him in fucking Puerto Rico, and he's the best damn driver you have there. There's no one that compared to Jeff Gordon. Maybe Tony Stewart, but
wow, you disrespected your god.
Tony knows. Tony says Jeff Gordon's his favorite driver too. If you actually flip your page into Get the Fucking Baseball Bat, Palms 1.8, you see that thou shalt praise Jeff Gordon.
That's right. I've read that multiple times.
Book of Tony, to be sold very soon. But Jeff is just awesome, honestly. He's fun to watch. Great personality. Has more talent than every other NASCAR driver that's in the sport right now combined. Even if he's at 1% power, they couldn't touch Jeff Gordon. Jeff, if you're watching this, how about you get me hooked up with your wife? She's pretty hot.
Oh,
Oh.
But Jeff, I love you.
disrespect.
You're the best driver of all time. You're better than, honestly, life itself. And I would like to sing a little song for Jeff Gordon.
No.
I would like a little concert.
Oh God.
Easy come, easy go. I'd catch a grenade for you, Jeff. Throw my hand on a blade for you, Jeff. I love you, Jeff Gordon. You're the greatest driver of all time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jeff Gordon, you are the best. Okay, Tanner.
That was beautiful. But anyways, Jeff Gordon, he's arguably my favorite driver of all time. He's probably one of the person who brought me into the sport. Without him, I probably wouldn't be here right now. But Jeff Gordon's career will forever be legendary. While he might be in that GOAT conversation, he's still up there no matter what. His career will forever be known. He basically brought West Coast fans into the sport and basically made it a worldwide trend. His legacy on the sport will forever live on no matter what, and will be considered the greatest driver of all time, in my opinion.
Oh crap! I forgot. I forgot that I go. Hi, it's me again. And yeah, Jeff Gordon's pretty good. Yeah, he's Jeff Gordon. I've always liked Jeff Gordon. Dad liked Jeff Gordon, so I like Jeff Gordon. Then again, he also liked Dale Earnhardt. So really, I kind of got both. But really, just I mean, yeah, he is indeed one of the greatest of all time and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I can't say much because after what Jared said and also sung, my ears hurt. So, go ahead, Zach.
There is a lot. There is not much that can put Jeff Gordon's talent into words. I may pray to Tony Stewart, but I live in a different sect where Jeff Gordon is not the greatest driver of all time. So, nope.
Wow, I'm offended.
You're going to hell with Danica.
Yeah, Zach.
Look
what you've done.
You're going to hell. You follow the wrong cult.
No, we follow the right one.
But Jeff Gordon, there isn't really much that you can say about him that hasn't been said a million times. One of the record holders for most wins in the modern era in a single season. 93. I mean, not 93. 13 wins in a season. 93 wins in a season. Imagine that.
You've done that already.
That would be
Dang. Oh.
that is just amazing. And I have to get at Jared. No, he's not the greatest driver of all time. He shouldn't be in that conversation.
Well, he is.
He is.
All right, that was our number one.
Woo!
Wow, that was an interesting move.
So, let us know in the comments if you enjoyed that list. What your biggest surprise was and what your biggest disappointment was. Like who surprised you by being that high and being that low.
Yeah, and don't forget, in about 2 months from now, we'll be doing this again for the least popular list.
This will be fun. That one will be fun because that will be all of us shit talking.
I plan on doing it every 4 so about give us 4 times a year. I have a lot of different stuff to talk about.
All right, and
58 minutes right now.
Damn. And now we will now we're at 2 minutes 59. We're going to transition to Jared's thoughts.
This is gonna be a good one. This is just gonna be a joke one, just so you know. This ain't what I really think. This is just for fun. We've had a good episode. Might as well bring a little bit of comedy into it. But anyways, my Jared's thoughts. I actually have two, sorta. Number one, I want to get off my chest and not talk about in too much stuff. I think we need to get rid of every one of Christopher Bell's pictures, especially the one that had that uncontrolled tower today. I honestly think that he needs to be not here at the moment. And yeah, if you're watching this Christopher Bell's tire changer that got the uncontrolled tower penalty, fuck you. I do not like you. And now on to Jared's Thoughts. Jared's Thoughts is a series of mine that I put on this Amino where I just share an opinion. And this week's topic is why NASCAR should use the Jared Holmes format. The Jared Holmes format is a format unlike any other NASCAR format in the history of NASCAR formats. This format is a game changer, honestly. And if you want to use it, NASCAR, my number is... Let's not say it out loud, but my Instagram handle is thejaredholmes96, I believe. But if so, just shoot me a message on there because I can't do it on my Jared Waddle Knots account because one of your drivers got me banned from being able to send messages. Screw you, Matt Benedetto. Screw you, Daniel Suarez. You two are trash. But anyways, the Jared Holmes format. So, what we do in the Jared Holmes format is just, who cares about some drivers, but to get an idea of what the format is, in the truck series right now, the top three would be Natalie Decker leading the points over Ben Rhodes and Grant Enfinger. Sheldon Krieg would be fourth, and fifth would be Christian Eckes. And then in the Xfinity format, the top two, Harrison Burke would be runaway already, probably by 5,000 points over Riley Herbst in second. With Noah Gragson in third. Fourth is who cares, and fifth is who cares, because then drivers don't matter. And then the Cup format, the points leader would be Christopher Bell with about 15 over Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott would be in second with about a 1 point advantage over Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski would be third with about a 28 point advantage over William Byron. And then William Byron in fourth with about a 45 point advantage over Alex Bowman. Honestly, I think this format needs to be used. And yeah, thoughts on my format.
Your format is retarded. Alex Bowman is too low.
Yeah, but he needs to get better.
It seems like a great system. I think we should use it.
Oh, too.
Pretty sexy.
Well, if I told you how it works, you might steal it from me, Jacob Hunt.
Oh, God.
And I have to keep this format hitting because I've been in talks with NASCAR, actually, and the thing about using it in 2019.
So basically, you blocked it a year ago.
Yes.
So it was used, and Kyle Busch won the championship.
No.
Good job.
They had to say Kyle Busch won the championship because we're just starting to test this format out. This is really the greatest format, of all time. And I'm just so excited for it to be used in NASCAR.
All right, let's move on.
All right, with that, we have exhausted topics. So now we will move on to our Q&A session. Tonight's Q&A will be about the season since the hiatus has ended. So, Darlington on.
Ask away.
Any questions in the chat? Put them down.
Just a reminder, if you guys haven't already, make sure to absolutely destroy that like button if you have not. It would be greatly appreciated. And make sure to subscribe to the NASCAR Amino YouTube channel if you have not already, which you should have. It should be the first channel you subscribe to in your subscription box. Yeah.
Okay, we got one. Should Jimmy return next year? Nope. At this point, no. He's already committed.
Really
He's already shown so much commitment to it. I totally forgot about our order. God damn it! Caleb, go.
I'd say it's really up to him. I know he's stated multiple times that he feels like it's just right to do it this year. I mean, really, I'd say it's hard to tell if I were in Jimmy Johnson's shoes, because there has been the stuff happening this season. But if there are able to be fans in the later races this season, which I anticipate there are, then I say this still should be his send off. It's been a crazy season so far, so I mean, I'd say it's pretty fitting.
No, Jimmy Johnson should retire effective immediately. I do not like Jimmy Johnson. He made a stupid move in Rex Shinhouse today. Screw you, Jimmy Johnson.
Well, there ain't really a person to fill that void in the 48, in my opinion. But Jimmy's committed to retiring, so it's up to him. So if he wants to retire, good for him. He's going out on his own terms, but I feel like he should come back in 2021 because this entire 2020 season will forever be known because of the worldwide pandemic, and several fans will actually miss out on seeing him again.
Well, ouch. At this rate, with how the season has gone and the way how the season has gone and how just how everything's gone in general, yeah, he should go ahead and just retire. And I mean, it would be cool to see him back. I mean, we're going to see him back. He never said he was going to retire completely. He just said he's retiring from full-time competition. So we'll probably see him in a fifth Hendrick. You get what I'm saying. Car at some point in the future. Yes, yeah. We'll see him at some point in the future. Zach, unless you've said something else.
I basically started speaking out of turn, so I apologize for that. At this point, he's committed so hard to not coming back that it would be kind of a cop-out if he did. So no, he should not come back. Okay, so Tristan, who's the biggest threat as we push towards the summer months where the tracks become more diverse? Caleb?
Like a bigger threat?
Like for the
who do you think would be the biggest threat?
Like the biggest, like the championship favorite.
Biggest threat for the. All right. This is interesting. I'd say this is sort of the part of the season where I'd usually say someone like Chase Elliott does, because he doesn't really start winning races till later in the season. Let's see. I'd say someone like Kyle Busch will start to get victories. He usually doesn't get him. Doesn't start racking them off week in, week out till later on in the season. I'd say Truex will get a winner or two. Just the guys that you'd normally expect to do well at this point that haven't yet will probably start to come into themselves. I can see William Byron start to finally get some race contending runs, but only time will tell.
Wow. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, your turn, Jared.
Okay, the driver that would be the hardest in the summer months, well, obviously Natalie Decker.
Well,
Natalie Decker and Chucks, Harrison Burton and Xfinity, Christopher Bell will win. He'll win at Atlanta, and he'll win the rest of the season. Bell will be the hardest driver by the end of the year and head into the summer months. Tanner?
It's kind of an interesting group of drivers right now. I feel like Kyle Busch might heat up in the summer. He's showing some progress so far. He just hasn't had that moment to get in winning opportunities yet. But once the summer clicks, he's going to be a monster. He'll make another monster run during the playoffs and possibly make the championship four, and maybe another run to defend his title.
Well, let me ask you what biggest. Well, Honestly, I didn't really think I'd be saying this, but I mean, we've seen it so far at, good different couple of tracks. Honestly, with how well he's been running, I'm kind of leaning towards Brad Keselowski. I know I wouldn't usually ever say that, but I kind of am. For instance, he had a very fast car at Charlotte, and then he just so happened to be in the right time to capitalize on Elliott's mistake and won the race. And the same thing at Bristol earlier today. He's playing very good strategy with good cars this year. I feel like he's probably going to be very hot. To you, Zach.
Hear me out. Hear me out. You probably already know what I'm about to say.
Alex Bowman.
Yes. But hear me out on why.
Tell us why.
Alex Bowman has been he's been the fastest driver week in and week out, on a consistent basis. The only time he hasn't showed possibly dominating speed since we've come back is this week at Bristol, and that's because he really never got a chance to show it. I feel like if that race played out for him, like at least a decent race, he would have finished top 5. But but as we get into the summer months, the short tracks that he struggles at, Martinsville and Phoenix, they're not going to be there. The tracks that we're going to are 1.5 miles and big tracks where Bowman is great. Other than Indianapolis, but that's besides the point. The point is the tracks over the summer are going to be great for Alex Bowman to continue to rack up all the playoff points that he's been racking up, and he could wind up with the most by the end of the regular season, I think. Even if he doesn't end up winning that many races. All right, next question.
We should probably close questions.
We're getting a lot.
We have to close.
Yeah, they are closed.
Questions.
All right, this isn't really related to our topic, but we'll entertain it. Dream track to add to the Cup schedule. Let's just go with that, because I think the question's asking for 3 different types, but I'm just going to go with dream track to add.
Dream track to add to the Cup Series schedule. I haven't really thought about that too much, but I think at the moment I'd say Gateway.
Own a Speedway.
Yeah.
Hold up, fucking Speedway, baby.
It's too small, Jerry.
I don't care. Fucking put them on the track.
That's the only reason I didn't say the bull ring.
Go around own a Speedway, but a track that realistically Iowa would be a fun track for the Cup. Tanner?
I would probably have to go with Iowa too. It's a track that deserves to have an opportunity to be on the Cup schedule. It has enough fans that support with the Xfinity and Truck Series. I think it deserves a date on the Cup schedule.
Well, mine is different because you'd have to do some renovation to get it. Actually, you'd probably just have to restore the entire damn track. Nazareth. I've always loved Nazareth, and I've always wanted to see more races run there, but then they stopped, and then the track absolutely died, and now it is... honestly, it's a lot worse than Wilkesboro, and that's really going places, because half the track is grass at this point. But, really, if they put money into it, it would be a great track. Cause it's quite a challenging racetrack, and I think it would definitely be a good thing for, the playoffs or just in general a fun race in the summer, something like that. So, Zach?
Canadian Top. Another one I just thought of. That was a fun track.
God damn it, you just stole mine. But okay, so now I've got to say something other than Canadian Tire.
Just saying.
Let's see. I think Circuit of the Americas would be pretty good, because the god himself, Tony Stewart, went to that track and he said this would be a great track to bring NASCAR to. He said it would have 5. It's a monster track, and it has I think Tony Stewart said it would have 5 passing zones, which is a lot for a road course. Like, even the Roval, which we all love, I think it has, 3 passing zones?
Yeah.
At most? So, yeah, we should definitely look at bringing in a track like maybe Coda. Maybe for like a 70-ish lap absolute shootout. That would be pretty fun.
That'd be pretty intriguing.
All right, next question. Do you guys think that quarantine has negatively impacted some of the drivers' ability to compete? Caleb.
I mean, honestly, I haven't been able to tell yet. I feel like all the drivers have kind of just hopped right back into it. They've kind of been anxious throughout the quarantine and stuff just to get back in the race car, and I can't really say that I've seen too much. I mean, even someone like Matt Kenseth, who has been out of the sport for since the end of 2018, hasn't really shown too much fatigue. I mean, I don't know. I honestly have not noticed it yet from the drivers.
One driver I've sort of maybe noticed it from is Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch just ain't been the same since we came back, honestly. Tanner?
I don't really see any fatigue from this. It seems like the drivers are more insane than ever, which is great to see on the trace or on the racetrack. But I don't really see anyone mentally hurt by this.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't really noticed much of anything myself, but I mean, really, if I'd have to pick out someone, I mean, I mean, I guess Kurt Busch. I mean, that's really the only thing I've seen. Maybe someone. I mean, again, a lot of the drivers have just been a lot more, like to the point and trying to get to the front of the pack more than they have beforehand because they're back and they're eager to get going again. But that's just that. So on to you, Zach.
I'm surprised not one of you said this guy, Kyle Busch. In what universe would you have thought that Kyle Busch would be the quietest JGR car since they've come back? Even Eric Jones has, for the most part, run better than Kyle Busch since we've come back. I mean, up until this race where Kyle finally somewhat looked like his old self, Kyle had only led 14 laps this season. 14. He's had a Darlington, the first race back, he had an absolute miserable time. He's just been struggling, and he's finally starting to get it the rust off. But yeah, Kyle Busch did not fire out of the gate very well at all. This is also not related to our topic, but we'll entertain it too. Best 1.5-mile track race of the decade. Does he? I guess.
Ooh.
Well, is he only talking about the 2020s or the 2010s? Because if he's talking about the 2010s, it's a lot harder. But if he's talking about the 2020s, that's pretty easy, I think. Because there's only been one.
Yeah, and that's the Charlotte race.
Actually, wait, no. Then there's been 3. Actually, there's 3.
Yeah.
Because Vegas.
Oh, he said 2010s.
2010s?
No.
Actually, I think it's easier than we think. Coke 600 of last season, I'm going to say.
I'm going to say 2014 Kansas.
Really? Huh.
Because Junior ranked out because he's a booch.
The one Gordon won.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's the first thing that comes to my head. Tanner?
I would say 2014 Chicago, since it has a lot of history with the 2014 package.
Oh, shit. 2017 Chicagoland. Forgot about that race.
2017?
Yeah.
2018, you mean?
2018, yeah.
My job.
Well, of course, Jared has to do what he's talking to Zach and steal the answer. Yeah. The 2018 race there was absolutely just yes. Simply stated, yes. It was good. Zach.
As heart-wrenching as this race was, 2019 Kansas Spring. That was a great race. And even with Brad Keselowski winning, which kind of sucked, but it was
No,
still
it didn't suck. That was awesome.
that was an awesome finish. Guys coming out of nowhere. I'm looking at you, Jimmy Johnson, to get great finishes. There was just nothing wrong with that race. Other than Alex Bowman not winning, but that's besides the point. Next race. Wow, none of these questions are related to the topic at all.
No. That's just entertaining. We only got two more.
Which IndyCar, F1, WEC Supercars drivers should test their hand in NASCAR?
It's kind of difficult for me to answer since I don't watch too much outside of NASCAR. But honestly, I'd say someone like Lewis Hamilton or Alexander Rossi. They seem to be more popular in the community.
Alexander Rossi, he's the greatest IndyCar driver of all time, not named Tony Stewart.
I don't even watch IndyCar, and I know that that's not true.
Not true.
I would say Lewis Hamilton, since he's probably the most well-known open-wheel driver right now.
Well, I beg to differ. Fernando Alonso simply stated, I would love to see Fernando Alonso get into a car. I mean, he did a seat swap with Johnson, but I'd love to see him like run a Truck Series race or a nationwide race somewhere. That'd be freaking great. Zach?
How about Juan Pablo Montoya?
He was here already.
No, we don't need that one again.
We don't need a redo.
We don't
Tanner
need
would say Connor Daly.
No, screw Connor Daly.
I would like to see Will Power in a Cup car.
Oh.
Will Power would be awesome.
Yeah.
He's 77. I can just imagine it.
Will Power or Newgarden?
I can see Newgarden coming.
I can definitely see Newgarden as well.
No. But if we're like really, really, really dreaming, I think every single one of us wants to see Simon Pagenaud get in a stock car.
Yes.
That's very intriguing, but I don't.
That might be the greatest thing we've ever seen. Just listening to no, I would want that just for the in-car audio.
I think we should just bring Kimi Räikkönen back.
Oh, God.
Danica Patrick. Woo!
No, shut up. Do you think fans will return this year?
Now that is a very, very hot topic.
Caleb.
Yeah. They'll return for the Brickyard 400, mark my words.
This is a hard way to go with all the stuff happening in the world, not just coronavirus, but other stuff. I would probably say yes, but like I said, with the stuff going on in the world, it's hard to tell what's going to happen next. 2020 has been a crazy year, but let's hope they're back. I'd say if they come back, it will be for Indy.
Tanner?
What was the question again?
Will fans come back this season?
Yes, there will. It will be a small capacity, but it'll be something.
Well, with me, yeah, I have to agree with Caleb. They're most likely going to come back at Indianapolis because of the absolutely large-ass venue they have there where they can space them out as well. And along with
They
that,
don't even need to limit them.
Yeah, they really don't at this point because of how many people turn up for it. But then again, I'm pretty sure because it'd be the first one they can go to, a lot of people would probably end up turning up.
NASCAR calls the coronavirus, so they're going to give credit Indy.
Oh God! No. But I also see them most likely probably doing something in Texas because Texas says they can have 20. The governor of Texas said they can have about 25% capacity at sporting venues, and it just so happens that Texas Motor Speedway is a sporting venue, so that'll probably end up happening like that.
We're gonna have to find out what IndyCar does with that.
Oh, I hate to be the only guy here that says no.
I mean, it's
and the
fair.
reason is I don't think I just don't see it. Like if what happens, like it's just too risky. What if NASCAR decides to bring fans back for Indianapolis and then there's a spike in Indiana that is directly linked to the Brickyard 400. One, it would kill the Brickyard 400 for good. Two, it might shut down the rest of the season for NASCAR. That would that's not. I don't think that would. I don't. I just don't. I just think it's too risky for them to do.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
All right, let's find the next relevant question.
I don't think there is anymore, honestly.
Should the pole winner and most laps led be rewarded in the points format? I like this question.
Honestly, I don't think they need more gimmicks. I think the way it is now is they've kind of thrown a bunch of different ways to get points in there enough as it is. I think in the older system where there wasn't as much going on with like playoff points and everything like that, it worked a lot better. But with what they have now, I mean, it would just make things so much more complicated. So I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say hell yes, more playoff points. Sounds good to me. Let's go, Tanner.
I'm 50-50 on it, but I don't think we need laps back since we have the stage points. But maybe for polls, possibly, since polls kind of do mean something. Well, technically for the shootout, though. But I think polls should honestly count for points.
Sure. Honestly, I mean, with the amount of stuff we have now, I mean, we could add it, but again, it would just kind of be complicated. You can add it if you want, but I mean, personally, I would say no, but that's just me. So, next guy, Zach.
Yes, but not as playoff points. Just as like regular count towards the standings points. Because I think it's ridiculous that you only need to do good for 3 laps and you can get up to 60 points. Like I don't like that you can be hurt. Like William Byron at 2019 Sonoma, what did he have? Like 30 something points?
Yeah.
When he led like 40 laps in the race? That's just not. I just don't think that's right. And Martin Truex, meanwhile, I think ended up with like 1 million points, even though he barely led more laps. All right. Let's see if there's any other good questions. Let's see. I guess we'll do this last one just for the sake of it. But it's If Fernando Alonso ever starts in NASCAR, could he be the first driver to win in Monaco, Indy, and Charlotte? I'm expecting very quick answers on this one.
I don't think so. No.
Who the fuck is Fernando Alonso? Tanner.
No.
God damn, Jesus. Well, actually, probably not. No, yeah, go on, Zach.
Hell no, he can't win Charlotte. People overrate F1 drivers big time. Guarantee you Fernando Alonso couldn't make it in NASCAR.
He couldn't make it in fucking McDonald's.
Couldn't even make the Indy 500.
Yeah, I couldn't even make the Indy 500.
He lost to a freaking journeyman driver. How garbage can you be?
Pretty garbage. I can't believe we still got fucking 11 people at 12:30 at night.
That's pretty good.
Well, this has been an interesting night.
This has been pretty solid.
Yeah. Thank you for sticking around, everyone. I think we're about to close up, though.
Yes, yeah. we are about to close up. Any final thoughts anyone wants to get out?
No. Congrats to Joey Logano, though. The NASCAR Amino member, Joey Logano. I have checked, and you have won the jackpot challenge. I saw that you was commenting something earlier. Congratulations. I will hand over your 500 coins probably tomorrow. I'm probably going to sleep after this, not going to lie.
Congrats, Joey.
All right. With that, we will be concluding the podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.
Oh,
See y'all.
Yay.
are we off?